Welcome to another episode of The Stream Room, the podcast about content creation by content creators for content creators. And this week, another one bites the dust. Sykkuno moving to YouTube. Is it because Twitch discoverability is the worst when it comes to growing as a content creator? We're going to go into that in depth today. I'm one of your hosts, Reapz.
Hello, I'm Eljay.
And I'm Nicktacular. Hello, guys. Welcome back to another week. My
Hello,
goodness.
boys.
Ooh, lovely to see
18.
you. How are we all feeling today?
Oh, doing great.
Not bad.
Yeah?
Not bad. Yeah. Just sculled a coffee.
Oh,
A
nice.
big bottle of water.
Yeah.
It's a very nice chilly 21 degrees for me right now, so I'm feeling good.
Okay, yeah, chilly for Queensland,
I mean,
definitely.
Queensland.
Yes,
you know,
very chilly.
29 degrees with 85% humidity on a normal day. All right.
Very true.
Drop me 7 Celsius, and then give me like 40% humidity any day of the week.
That's right. That's very true. But can we just say thank you last week, because our podcast has been going very, very well in terms of everything. So all the things that you've been doing, the likes, the comments, the subscribing, it really does help us grow. But Eljay knows more about that than anybody, right?
Well, yeah, because I read them all.
Yeah,
I read every comment.
exactly.
So make sure you comment. If you're listening to this, by the way, and you're not commenting or engaging in some way, I just want to throw it out there that there's something wrong with you, and I hate you. I don't know why we're
Call it
laughing.
out. There you go.
Serious.
And we've just lost.
Sorry,
our
there is
listeners.
something seriously wrong if you do not interact with us. Yeah,
I'm joking. Obviously, Reapz is being serious.
I am being serious. Yes.
Yeah.
So no, I read all the comments, boys. Quick little takeaways. We'll do the questions at the end, so make sure you question. But a few little quick takeaways for you. Last week, we made a few people take a step back and realize they didn't actually want to do streams. They wanted to make YouTube videos, and they were making streams and editing them into YouTube videos, and they weren't enjoying it. And
Shocker.
they were like,
Yeah.
"Oh, I actually just wanted to be a YouTuber, but this was easier."
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
That is interesting.
So,
Extremely so.
Yeah, and then we had a few people realize they were in the completely wrong niche. They were like, "Oh, I was making all this stuff," and then I realized I actually am not passionate at all about it, and I was wondering why I was struggling to go live.
yeah. That's a big thing. That's definitely a big thing for motivation, is if you're not really into it. It's just something you see. And we've talked about that many times. It's just, you think Twitch, it was the big thing during the pandemic. Everyone was talking about it. Everyone was on it. What else have you got to do? And then when you do it, you realize, actually, this isn't the creative outlet that I thought that I really wanted or needed.
Yeah, it's probably something that's not really talked about. Is like truly like talk like in a more deeper way of like, is streaming actually for you? Like identifying. We just
legitimately.
we've accidentally been these people's like stream therapists, and they've decided, I don't want to stream anymore. I want to make YouTube content.
Tell me why you want to
funny
stream.
though, right?
Yeah.
Well,
Write
we
it
did
down.
that in the Discord the other day. So in the Stream Scheme Discord, there was a big conversation that broke out with a regular called Ono. That's not his full username. That's just a nickname. But we had a whole conversation where he was trying to talk about like what he wanted to do. And myself and another member were kind of like, hey, well, I started the conversation because he was saying all this stuff and he felt lost. And I kind of wrote back, I mean, I've watched you be here for like 8 months now, or longer than that. And I got to be honest, I have no idea what you're actually passionate about.
Yeah.
Like I got no idea what type of content you want to make or what you want to do. And he listens to this, so he'll hear this. And I was trying to be helpful. I wasn't trying to be harsh by being like, I've watched your stuff and I got no idea if you like it. And he was like, oh, yeah, I guess I don't really know why. And like we had to like talk to him and like ask him questions and find his why. And he kind of got there in the end about what he wants to be doing and what he's feeling. But I think a lot of content creators they don't have a why. You know what I mean? They don't have like an intrinsic why, because something we said last week or something we touched on last week we didn't really explain was like, if you love creating content, you don't care if it doesn't get many views because you loved making the creative process.
Yes.
Right? If your entire reason for why is to become somebody or become known, well, you're kind of up the creek without a paddle, because the moment you upload something and gets no views, you fall off, which I've worked with people directly who have that issue. They edit something, release it. This only got 15 views off my 3 subs. And I'm like, that's sick. And they're like, oh, give it up.
Yeah. Mate, when I worked, for a company, we had so many clients come in. You probably got this as well. We just want a video that will go viral. And you're like, bro, I mean, how am I going to make this video viral? Yeah.
Let me code the algorithm into the video so it goes viral.
Yeah, I'll know exactly what people want. Yeah.
Hey, speaking of that, can I talk about something really cool that I did this past week?
Bring it, baby.
it's because it's all about discovery, right? It's like when I'm moving to YouTube, and I did something really cool. Okay, I put the last 365 days worth of Stream Scheme videos into a graph. I don't know if I talked about this with you guys yet. I'll tell you now.
You have not.
Into a graph, okay? And then I plotted it for 24-hour performance. So the first 24 hours of every single video's release, I plotted it dot by dot by dot, which is a lot of videos, right? We did almost one weekly for the past year, is what it averaged out to. And I can see my top 5 performing videos and all of their stats, and then I can see my bottom 5 performing videos and all of their stats. Okay. And then I can see everything in between and where they range, right? Which gave me a really good understanding of the key analytics that I need to reach for a video to go viral, right?
Cool.
I'm not joking. Yeah. Legitimately, I can run it down now. If I do a 20-minute video, it needs to get exactly 57% retention rate or more, and it needs to have at least a 7% CTR, and then it'll go long term.
Wow.
If it has high CTR, it'll get a lot of views in the first week, but it won't go long term if the retention rate isn't 57%. If it has high retention rate, it'll get a lot of views in the first week, but it won't go long term. If it has both, it actually hits the algo and goes nutty. It's really cool. But hear me out, right? My best performing video, right, I've ever done during all of the periods. You'd think it's the one that got 980,000 views in the space of 6 months. No. Technically, in the first 24-hour period, my best performing video was the one I released at the start of April, and it was called 3 Mistakes Small Streamers Still Make, right? Which is, I think, a cool title. That's best performing in the first 24 hours. However, it didn't do much further than that. And then I went on to release 5 videos, and those 5 videos are some of my worst performing videos. Literally back to back to back to back.
What? In the first 24 hours, that was the worst performing.
Because, okay, so I went from having, I understand why it works, right? I've always known and understood why it works. And that's why that one did so well, is because I put so much time and energy into understanding it. And you can see it, I released all these videos over the last 6 months, and they've all done pretty well for clickbait and for clicks and views and stuff like that. Lots of retention tools. But because the industry has fallen off so hard, and you can't just release only clickbaity, social growth and confidence and stuff like that, because that, at the end of the day, you can have all that stuff, but if you don't have the basics understanding, you're not going to grow, right? Yeah. So I did a shift this month where I released a bunch of VSEO'd long-term search content, such as how to set up stream labels, how to make your own emotes and animate them, how to do certain things on YouTube. And then last night we released a bunch of free animated overlays, which has been doing my head in. It's been so much work.
It was amazing though. You should be proud of all the work.
I appreciate it. The designers did the real hard part of it.
Obviously. Yeah,
they're the ones who made it. But anyway, essentially, so I released a video that did the best in the first 24-hour period, and then I released 5 videos that are my 5 lowest performing in the first 24-hour period. And I'm really curious to see whether or not I'm able to release something this week, this Tuesday coming, and have it perform as one of the best. Because I'm going back to, not going back to, but it's a bit more back to that socially kind of clicky thing. But I thought it was super, super interesting that you could plot it all and see it all.
Yeah.
And what I learned from it, and I mentioned to you guys just before this podcast started, before we move on to other things, what I learned from it was that I was particularly targeting someone's day-to-day struggles or day-to-day needs, right? So I mapped out my audience in my head, who they are, what they do, and then I mapped out exactly what they're dealing with, right? So I was like, okay, so everyone wants more chatters, okay? Everyone wants more viewers, everyone wants these things, right? I mapped out all the struggles that a small streamer goes through, and then I made videos that perfectly appealed to those, and those are the ones that had the best performance. But caveat there, they also had less specific titles, right? Okay. So that they appealed to the general mass of streamers. So for example, if I said how to grow on Twitch, that is en masse, right? Everyone wants to grow on Twitch. It appeals to everyone. If I said how to get to 5 average viewers on Twitch, it appeals to a lot of people. But anyone who's over 5 average viewers is probably I don't need that, right? 15 average viewers, again, same thing, right? If I release a video about how to make your webcam look pro, huge appeal to everyone. But if I released a video how to set up your DSLR for streaming, it probably has a decent amount of appeal, but not as much appeal, right? Bored. And so I mapped out who my audience was. I mapped out where they appeal to, what their day-to-day struggles are, what the things they're going for. And that's how I had my best performing videos ever, right? Was when I appealed to that. And then I made the long-term search ones, which may have screwed me because I made them at a time where the entire industry of Twitch has seen a 30 to 40% drop.
Yes.
So we track search for Stream Scheme, and it has literally had in the last since December, a 40% drop off in people interested in becoming streamers.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I can understand that as well. I mean, you don't have to be a genius to know that with the world opening back up again and you can actually go outside and do things, that there's now a whole wealth of things that you're like, oh, I don't have to just focus on a computer in front of me. But that's really interesting because you did tell us like last week that you're making content for the evergreens. So you weren't hoping for it to spike now. You're hoping for it to spike, later on, because it's always going to be something that somebody would search up. So I'm interested to see how that does go as well, because exactly, like this could be a long-term play that's going to pay a lot of dividends in the end.
So a video example, right? One of the other videos that technically used to be one of my worst performing videos was called How to Customize Your Twitch channel or your Twitch About Me and About Us and stuff like that, right? And that used to be my worst performing video in a 24-hour period, okay? Now, 6 months later, I'm pulling it up so I can tell you the exact amount that it got. Let me just find it here. Yeah, I released that video September 3rd. In the first 24-hour period, it did absolutely like terribly. No one was interested in it, right? So in the first 24 hours, it got only 3,500 views, which to some people are like, there's a lot of views. It's not for my channel, right? But also now, those videos I released last night are not doing great either. But anyway, I released that in September, first 24-hour period, 3,500 views. It has now been 241 days and it has 120,000 views. And of those 120,000 views, 70% of it came from YouTube search. And then 6% of it came from external. And that external is Google search.
Okay.
So a total of 76%-ish of it came from people searching stuff up on Google and YouTube. Right.
Okay.
It could be Bing.
It just took. Yeah. Oh, good. No, I can see it. It's not Bing. But essentially, what I'm saying is I released this in September, and when it really started kicking into gear was during the seasonal spike. So when we got to the point in the year where everyone wanted to be streamers, they were searching how to update their bio, where to get the free panels, and I was coming up. And so I'm hoping that with the emotes, with the stream labels, with the new overlays, with all that stuff, hopefully when the seasonal spike kicks back in and people want to become streamers and all the search increases, we're the ones who are there in front of their faces, and all the brand new streamers are like, oh, I'm watching Stream Scheme because they appear for everything.
Yeah.
And that is how you do long-term VSEO. And I've got so many videos like that as well. Another one where I did the exact same process, which I think has been gone for a while now, but I literally it's called Streamlabs Easy Setup. Okay. And all I did, I made it purely because I was tired of getting asked how to set things up in Streamlabs. Okay. That performed even worse in the first day. In the first day, it was like 2,000 views.
Right.
Okay. Which is worse than the ones I've currently released. Okay. But we are now 259 days in, and it's at 80,000 views, and 80% of them are from YouTube search.
Huge.
Because people want to learn how to set up Streamlabs, and that's it.
Yeah.
That's all it was, right? That's what it is. And that is, I think, how I'm going to stay alive as a content creator who does content on Twitch in the down periods. Because I see a lot of people in the down periods in my niche just kind of like struggle.
Yeah.
Right? Because they release a video in 5 days. In 5 days, it only gets 4,000 views because like it doesn't actually anticipate their needs. It's just another microphone review.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
You know, it doesn't anticipate the emotion. And doing all of this really, really hammered home my approach to doing this as a marketer, right? Even for other YouTube stuff, even for like content that has nothing to do with how-tos and stuff like that. Like, you know for a fact that Ludwig has an audience persona, right? Like, you know for a fact all these big content creators have an audience persona they understand and they appeal to. And I think like people always say like, oh, you can't have an understanding of an audience if you're doing a fun entertainment content. It's like, yeah, you can. Like, have you ever met someone who watches Jacksepticeye? They're all very similar. Yeah. Have you ever met someone who likes watching Dark Souls content? They're all very similar, right? Like, you can map and appeal to these people so easily.
Well, yeah, because marketing personas are like, that's like a basic thing. Like, you have like doing, and yeah, it's not the easiest thing in the world to try and put yourself into someone that you're trying to appeal to. Like, you're really thinking about like, okay, what exactly is the kind of, is this person looking for? It's tough, but if you can do it, like, it really helps guide you because you're crafting and wrapping that content to exactly fit the audience that you want to reach.
Yeah. So I just thought that was interesting on the topic of discovery and producing content and YouTube and all that stuff. I don't know. I think it's creating these long-term burns. They look really bad on the surface, but I think hopefully they should do quite well in the grand scheme of things. And if they don't, if for some reason that these ones don't do what the other videos have done, well, then that'll also be an interesting experiment to figure that out.
Definitely. Do you think streaming can also be seen, because imagine a world where there isn't like a pandemic and there's no lockdowns and things like that, because it's different for all around the world. Some countries are in lockdown, some are not. Do you think that in the future, when it isn't a concern, that streaming may be a seasonal thing? And by that, I mean, say, wintertime, you know, especially in America when it's like snow and they're just like, I just want to stay home, you know, don't want to go out. Do you think you'll see a spike in viewers maybe in America at this time, or like, you know, maybe in Australia at this time? Yeah.
We already do, don't we? Like, as streamers ourselves, one thing that a lot of people probably don't realize is the fact that this month, I think we talked about last week again with Mads and stuff, this month is literally the month every single year where Twitch just starts to fucking tank. Like everyone's back at work, no one's watching, no one cares about you sitting there playing your game, you know, and it just starts to tank. And that's one of the reasons why YouTube content is so powerful, is because people can't sit down and interact and watch a full live stream, but they will sit there every single day and absorb a YouTube video, which is, you know, such a powerful thing. One thing about that was really interesting was I told you guys about that poll I did a while ago. I did a bunch of polls. And one of them was, hey, do you watch Twitch every single day? And people voted like, no, I can't really watch Twitch every single day. It's like, hey, do you watch the same streamer every single day? And I was like, no, I never watch the same streamer every single day. I never watch them when they go live every single time. And it's like, okay, do you watch YouTube daily? Yeah, I do. Okay, do you watch the same YouTubers daily? Yeah, I do. Like, and it was so interesting to me because it's like, yeah, well, it's video on demand, right? Like they can watch it whenever they want every day, and they're so used to the consistent upload schedules. And it comes back to the audience persona. How do people use the internet? How do people absorb content on the internet? And I think a lot of people who are streamers, much like last week, are sat there thinking, everyone uses the internet like I do. But the reality is they don't even realize how they use the internet themselves, because they probably spend more time on YouTube, and they probably find their favorite streamers from YouTube. And they probably do all that stuff.
Yeah, you're dead on, because I look at my patterns in like YouTube as well, and I go down like a rabbit hole. Like, for instance, I'll go on a good mythical morning binge, right? And then forget about it for 2 to 3 months and move over to something else like No Rolls Barred, right? That type of thing. And I realized that even though I didn't watch the content at the time that it was released, it still does the algorithmic thing of going, well, you've been watching this a lot, so let's just put you on to the video that they did 2 months ago. And then you see that one just go through the roof, because people go through this seasonal thing. While with streaming, if you're not watching them live, then they will never get those views, because who goes back and watches a 5-hour VOD? You know what I mean? Like it just doesn't really happen as much as it would on YouTube.
Yeah, well, that's what I was going to ask. Like, Eljay, have you ever done a poll to ask people how many people will actually go back and watch VODs, or do they prefer to watch stream highlights? Like, see what that kind of divide is like.
The problem with that, and it really sucks, is I wish I could get accurate representation of that, because, and maybe some people will take this badly, but it's the absolute truth, is that sadly, whenever you ask a streamer who's a small streamer who doesn't want to diversify, who thinks they can grow purely, you know, just by streaming in Warzone, right? Like, I'm not talking about people who like strategically grow on Twitch, like, you know, us three or Shalaluya or Walker or any Bizarro Longy or any of these people, right? They kind of just lie to themselves and others. So like I'll say things like, you know, no one goes to the Warzone category and sorts by lowest to highest, guys. And then all the people come out and go, I do that. And it's like, okay, you understand I'm saying that people don't do that for like consistently, right? Like people do not do that consistently. This is like you're doing that because you're a small streamer, not because you're the 99 percentile of viewers. Yeah. Right. And the same thing happens with VODs. Anytime I say, you know, your VODs on Twitch won't get you growth. Yeah. But then people go, I got 0 average viewers, but my VOD has 65 views on it the next day. And I'm like, yeah, that's a total count of every unique user who went through your live stream, not actually the views you got afterwards. And they go, then how is it that it's increased? And I'm like, because it takes a couple of hours to improve. And so it sucks, right? Because I've tried to run polls in the past about VODs or ask people about VODs, and the amount of people who try and like just argue that the VODs on Twitch are a viable way to grow. It's like, you can say all sorts of things about Twitch discovery. You could be like, yeah, I sit at the top of this category that's heavily beloved. Like I sit at the top of the Smash Brawl category or the Melee category and stuff like that all the time, and that's how I grow. Or I sit at the top of the Super Mario 64 speedrunning categories, and I just get everyone's raids because I stay alive so often, right? Like lots of different strategies to grow, right? But I'm sorry, VODs are just never a fucking strategy. Yeah. And so people just, I wish I could get the data you're asking about, Nick, but it never comes out accurate.
Because I've had a few people tell me that like they've gone back to watch VODs for things that they'd missed. Like especially when I was when I was playing Mass Effect 3, like people were really invested in that playthrough and they would actively tell me like, oh, I have to go watch the VOD from the other day when you played it and see what happened and stuff like that. But that's a very small majority.
Your core audience will go back and watch a story-based VOD a lot of the time.
Yeah.
So like I get a lot of people saying like, oh yeah, I watched your VOD because I wanted to see where you're up to in the Minecraft playthrough or in this and this and this. But in terms of VODs, Twitch features are not great with all of that. But that's not really that's not the audience intent on Twitch. Like here's the thing, right? If we're going to talk about this today, and you guys, if you'd rather talk about your weeks first, we can. But I want to throw it out there. Do you guys think if Twitch really actually added features like a clip channel to scroll through, or they added it so that the VODs were easier to watch through or anything like that, that anyone on Twitch would actually use it?
It's
like viewer-wise.
Yeah, this is the thing, because there's definitely a community feel, and I think Mizkiff talks about this a lot on his channel, that YouTube and Twitch have a different kind of vibe. Like they have their own vernacular. You know, when it comes to, if you go to a live stream on YouTube, it doesn't have the kappas, it doesn't have the Monka S. It's just like a different kind of language, as it were, different hangout space. And I think it would be great, obviously, even if they're not beneficial in the long run, like a clip channel or something. But if they did institute it, at least we know that they're trying to improve it, and it may pay off. I'm not saying it will definitely pay off. I'm saying that, you know, it's slow because people just click on the streamer that they like, and that's pretty much it for their kind of interactivity. But if they did have a clip channel where it's like, these are the most popular clips of today, and it does give a reason to find new streamers, especially if it's like a category of like Super Mario or whatever it is, I still think it's a good step to take, rather than just sitting back on laurels and go, oh, you know, we could do it, but we don't think it's going to pay off. That's probably what I think about the whole situation.
Yeah, I don't think it'd be super like revolutionary or anything, but I do see that there could be some appeal for almost like a TikTok-based Twitch, where you're just scrolling through, you know, like clips and stuff like that, because, you know, they're basically the same length now. Like TikToks, you know, will range the same length as what a Twitch clip will. Twitch clip will either be, you know, 5-10 seconds, or it'll be 60 seconds or a little bit over. So it could work. You could have that as like a forefront of the app as well. And if all you would need to do is just, I guess, if Twitch, you know, if you like, you tag your clip appropriately with, you know, certain things, same way you kind of do it on TikTok, where you like tag it with certain descriptors that kind of make sense, not like the default ones for like a live stream or anything like that. And then that way, yeah, it's like obviously, you know, the Twitch engineers would have to build like their own algorithm for what people would want to see clip wise. But there's potential. There really is potential. It could actually help. It won't be the next TikTok, but it'll.
I guess the problem I have with it is that, like, I wish, like, I think anything like that, you're right, Reapz, is the best way to look at it. I guess in my head, I just kind of look at it and I go, would viewers peruse? You know what I mean? Because viewers currently, they just go straight to their favorite streamers. That's the reality of it. They don't go to Twitch and start looking around for more things. And you'd have to really put it front and center and change the user path, right?
Yes.
And the same way as like, okay, well, YouTube Live, they're never really going to allow live streams to take up valuable spots of where videos could be shown, because a live stream may not have the same retention power as a YouTube video, and they don't want to hurt their main product. The same question can be said vice versa for Twitch. Would they ever implement something like that, which could be front and center to distract from someone who's just going to go straight to their favorite viewer and watch a bunch of ads and drop a bunch of bits and subs? Or because they're just going to start, they could just create an issue where there are less people, you know, spending money because instead they're watching the clips. But I also just generally, I guess in my head, I just don't see viewers willing to go and actually like watch them. That's the reality of it.
It'd be like you said, it'd be a front and center thing. Like, you know what? They could straight up rip off TikTok and just be like, clips for you page.
yeah, literally.
Yeah. Well, that kind of exists at the bottom of the homepage right now.
Yeah,
a lot of people just don't. A lot of people just don't know. I used to spend heaps of time there before I was a streamer. I would go to the homepage, scroll to the bottom, and that's how I would catch up on the best moments of my favorite streamers.
Yeah.
I still do that for like Out Reapz, for example. I saw that horse dying clip before I came to your stream because it was on my homepage and I clicked it. But I think I'm like, again, I'm not going to lie to people and pretend like VOD views are going to be discoverable or anything like that. I legitimately like those clips. That's like me. I'm a 1%er who goes, I wonder what my favorite streamers have done with clips.
Yeah.
Scroll, and
then go down. It's a very hard thing to understand because I think, we talked about this and we are seeing a dip in terms of viewers. We're seeing a dip in terms of people streaming and things like that because you already know the reason. So we have had this hearsay Bloomberg article come out where they basically said that behind closed doors, Twitch are trying to implement some new features or, contracts, things like that, to say that this is how we're going to keep Twitch afloat because that we are going to see, a downfall for a certain period of time. And as we know, Twitch has never made money year on year. They've always lost money. And there will be a time when you think that, will they sell Twitch if it's not living up to the expectations of Amazon, or are they keeping it as valuable IP? We don't know. But the things that they've been discussing and not finalized, I say in quotation marks, please take this all with a grain of salt. This is just an article that apparently insider leak type thing. So there's going to be incentives for more ads, whatever that means, whether we run them more and they give us more of a cut or in terms of they'll add more ads into mid-rolls or pre-rolls. We've got a new split for big-time creators who get the 70-30 on their subs. So 70% goes to the creator, 30% goes to Twitch. They're saying that they want to null that and make it 50-50 like they did in the past or with many creators out there. New tier systems. Interesting to see what they do with a tier system. No more exclusivity is the big one I think that they were discussing because I'm guessing with the contract thing, if you went down from 70-30 to 50-50, that's like what's in it for them in the long run. And then changes could be implemented this summer in America, which is in a few months' time, I believe. Now, when you read that and when you have a look at that, it's kind of like, okay, I can understand more ads because that's the only way that Twitch makes money.
Hold on. It doesn't say more ads.
Sorry.
It says incentives. It says more ad incentives. This
Yes.
is something that's been grinding my gears. And for starters, this is a leak, right? This could literally have been some external firm comes in, sits down at Twitch and goes, here's what we want to do with your systems to increase profitability because that's the task you gave us.
Yep.
And they sit there and they pitch all this stuff and the Twitch staff could have gone, that sounds like it would never go down well. But then one person decided to leak it.
Yep.
Or it could be internal and we don't know. There's so much information that we don't know.
Yes.
But for starters, everyone's like, it says more ads, more mid-rolls, more ads. It's like, okay, no, it says incentives, right?
Yep.
And to me, I see the ad program where they're offering us more money. Like, yeah, we all know the ad program. So they've started the new ad program, if you don't know, where they say, hey, based off the amount of ads you currently run and how much you earn from ads, if you run X amount of ads a month and stream an X amount of hours, you'll get paid a flat rate. So for me, it was something like, I think I'm allowed to say, I don't care. For me, it was something like, if I run the same amount of ads I already run, maybe increase them by 30 seconds per set, they'll give me $100 USD a month on top of what I already earn from ads. So I'd be getting around 250 USD in total from ads a month, right? And that was, I could go to a higher tier and it would be like $200 I'd get from it instead, right? Like, and it goes up. And that's an incentive. They're saying, hey, here's money if you want to run more ads. Is it the right thing for your growth? That's your own decision. We're not forcing you to do this stuff, right? That is a current program they started recently. People are really upset about the pricing on those ads. And I think that's fair. The pricing is abysmal comparative to like YouTube. But like that's an incentive.
Yes.
Right? And I think that's a really important thing to say here. A lot of people are running around being like, it's more ads. It just says incentives. For all we know, one of those incentives could be a skip ad button, right? It could be the complete opposite. Another one could be, hey, if you run your own ads, it means that they will never see a pre-roll at all in your stream until like 10 minutes in, and then they'll get a quick pre-roll with a pop-up saying, hey, if you follow this channel, or you won't ever see ads.
That'd be amazing,
to increase follow.
Right? That's great.
These are dream ideas that I'm coming up with right now, obviously. But you know what? they have the same kind of speculation as everyone saying there's more mid-rolls, right? The only difference is I read the word incentive.
Yes. Yeah.
So I don't know. I've been a bit frustrated about everyone running around and yelling that there's more ads coming, and it's like, well, we don't know there are more ads coming. There might be a better way of handling ads coming.
Yes.
And I don't know.
I would just love the option, because at the moment when I go into a stream, it's basically a 30-second ad, because most people have pre-rolls on. The people that I go into, it's like pre-roll, and then it's got to watch 30 seconds, and then it's, however many time before the next one. And then if you're like, oh, actually they're not playing a game that I like today, or they're doing a BRB screen or something, I'll go click on somebody else. It's the same ad, and it's the same 30 seconds in the space of a minute that I've clicked it. So I'm seeing the same ad twice, and it's unskippable. So that kind of like definitely throws me off. It's like, I may as well just stay here, because if I go to another one, I don't want to go through another barrage of them. But there's also that thing of like, do you think they'll ever institute ads where it is like a picture-in-picture, where it is, underneath, like a banner underneath the actual stream?
Haven't they already done both of those? Because display ads now appear at the bottom, and the picture-in-picture exists. When an ad runs, your stream goes up to the top right.
It does. But do you think it will be like you can hear, because I'm not sure if I'm doing it wrong, but I just hear the ad, and then I've got the little picture-in-picture up there, and I can't hear what's going on. Yeah.
So the problem is, right, if and I can pull it up if you want. I'm happy to reveal how much I get paid for ads on YouTube.
Only if you're comfortable, my friend.
Yeah. It doesn't bother me. I've revealed all of it in fucking screenshots on Stream Scheme before. But the problem is, right, is that for years, display ads have done nothing. Like, they've done nothing, right? And not display. Display actually also classifies videos technically. Sorry, I should say.
The banner.
Banner ads and image ads and stuff like that do like almost nothing. All of the money, if you want to bring in that bank, all of the money and all of the value that for advertisers comes from your interrupting ads, right? The ones that will pop up and say, hey, here's this, blah, 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 blah. Even if they end up clicking skip, that's fine. Whatever, YOLO. I'm just trying to pull it up.
That's so good.
There we go.
And that's that's the thing, right? Is like, because on YouTube, the non-skippable ads are only like about five or so seconds, and then the
5 seconds is skippable.
Yeah, and
right. And the skippables I earn in April was 90% of my skippable ads is where my ad revenue on YouTube came from.
Okay.
Bumper ads are the ads at the start and the end of the videos, but the bumper ads I don't run. I just don't run those really. I think a few of that 6% is just because I forgot to turn the ones off at the end of the video on a few videos. But those skippables, remember, are also the mid-video skippables.
Yeah.
So you can skip mid-video, right? Because it'll run, for me, I only think I let YouTube decide, and most videos get like one ad in the middle, right? Sometimes they add more, but I trust YouTube's algorithm to do it properly better than I will. Whereas Dream runs like fucking 10 ad breaks in a 40-minute video. Dude must make like $1 million from a single video.
Man's bank. No way those kids have YouTube Premium.
No way. But display ads, so the ads that appear on the side and the little banner, in an entire month on YouTube was 4% of my income. Those are turned on every video.
Yeah.
Every single video. So I think that's a pretty, you can kind of tell instantly a drip from 96% down to 4%.
Yeah.
Right? Like 96% are in video, skippables and bumpers, and displays are 4%.
Yeah.
But and that's the thing. The banner ads, I think it was pretty clear. Like, everyone would just ignore them anyway. Like, even when they first showed them off, it was like, okay, it's whatever. Like, just click and like, it's no one's going to think more about it. But I think with pre-rolls, what they need to do the same thing YouTube does. They need to have, if you're going to have an unskippable pre-roll ad, make it 5 seconds and no more.
Yeah.
Like, that's it. Like, if advertisers are willing to do that and they know that, oh, this 5 second ad is going to get played, regardless, like they'll be able to get those advertisers and do that. But that's also another big problem, like that you touched on, Reapz, is that you go to a stream, you watch that pre-rolled ad, you go to another stream and get the one served to you exactly again. There's no
same ad.
Yeah. There's no system that says that, oh, they just watched a pre-roll, so we don't need to show them again.
Yeah.
Not like unlike YouTube, So that's the really, they need, and I think I would hope that there's a lot of internal discussion about it at Twitch and figuring out what's the best way to tackle it. But I feel like that would be the best way, is shorten the pre-rolls and just don't serve them another pre-roll for another minute or two in case they're clicking around streams trying to find something they like.
Yeah. It's a tough one.
Yeah, it really is. I recently changed my ad systems because obviously with a 40% dip in people using Twitch and stuff like that, it means that my overall discoverability has gone down, right? So if there are less people coming in, I realize that pre-roll is less of a problem and holding them in retention rate is more of my focus, right? And people are gonna, if anyone's listened to me talk on StreamSkin before, they know for a fact that I used to use the ads manager. I used to run ads every hour, blah, 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 blah. I still stand by doing that a lot of the time. But I also say in those videos, this won't work for everyone. This is what I work. This is what I do. Make sure you test yourself. But recently I'm running a test and I'm seeing some pretty decent success. Like the other night, I somehow ended up like in the top row of Minecraft with like 180 viewers with no raid, right? That's great. And I was sat there and I was having all these people coming in, following. And I realized I had pre-rolls on. And I thought to myself, man, if I just had pre-rolls turned off right now, I'd probably be getting 30% more people. Because it's like 1 in 3 will leave before the pre-roll is even done. Yeah. So there's that downside. But then when I'm lower in the category, I actually had a higher chance of boosting people who, when they did get in, they stayed in. Yes. Right? Because obviously I had more people coming in who weren't my subs. So if they watch one ad, they stuck around, it's easier. But that's a balancing act, essentially. So I've been running them when I go to the loo and controlling them a bit better now. And I think it's just everyone just has to experiment with that kind of stuff. I think I'll probably go back to the ads manager depending on the category. But it's been interesting. But other than ads, there's a few other things in that article. Yes. What is the next one in the list specifically? So we just did incentives for more ads, and the next one is the new split of 70% to 50%. I don't know a hot take on this. I've told you guys brought this up before the podcast, and I said my entire take was this is a leak, but fuck it. I got a hot take on this. Who cares? I know it's going backwards, but also, as far as I was concerned when I read the Bloomberg article, it kind of came across as when you read the actual article, not just the tweet, it kind of came across like they were saying that all partners get a flat 50-50, which I think 99% of partners these days who get partnered get that. I don't think I've not spoken to a partner who has a 70-30 who's been partnered in the past 2 years. Right? So it's like, okay, so, and from what I read, the tier system is directly related to the like rank you are as a partner. Is that not right? Like when I was reading the Bloomberg article, it sounded like they were saying we're implementing a new tier system or considering a new tier system. And if you, depending on your tier, it depends on the sub split you're going to get. Right? Okay. At least that's from what I read on it.
So it says, I'll read this quickly. So-called partnerships program to 50 from 70%. Another option is to create multiple tiers and set criteria for how to qualify for each one. Two of the people said, in exchange, Twitch may offer to release partners from exclusivity restrictions, allowing them to stream on Google's YouTube or Facebook. That's pretty much all they've said about it.
Okay, so that's the thing, right? It's saying, hey, so your upper echelon will go from 70% down to 50%. Yep. Or another option, we create multiple tiers and set criteria. Yes. Which, I'm going to be real, sounds fucking sick, all right? If I'm a 50% partner, I'm not saying I am or aren't, but I think most people are, then I would love it if someone said to me in my little dashboard, hey, Eljay, here are key performance metrics that if you reach them, you can get a higher sub split. Yeah. If you bring us more money, we'll give you that. Yeah. Which I don't know if I'm taking bloody crazy pills or something like that, but I love the idea of being given more information about how I get better sub splits. Yeah. Because right now, the only information I have about sub splits is literally just random people on the internet being like, yeah, back in the day when I was a streamer, I had to get 4,000 subs a month. And if I could hold that for 3 months, they give me a 70-30 split. Yeah. And I'm like, who are you? And they go, I get 5 average viewers now, but I used to be big. And I'm like, okay, well, why what you've got, you're not on it anymore. You're not involved, right? Yeah. Stop spreading misinformation. Yeah. So I don't know. I kind of think, you know what? Anyone who's in the upper echelon who's complaining about this, they're probably going to be in the high tier anyway. Yeah. Yeah. Right? Like, if you're already bringing enough subs in, you're probably better off. It means you're not going to drop. You might even get a better one. Who knows?
That's the thing.
Right? Like,
Ms. Kiff has said that it doesn't affect the big time streamers because they've already made their money. Like they've already done it in terms of they're going to be fine. It's more affecting the people who I reckon around that like 1,000 viewer mark, who like basically all of their kind of income is from Twitch and is from their subs. Now, obviously but it's such a small minority more than anything else. You've got to think, you know, the the majority outweigh the minority in regards to the incentives here. And if there is, as you said, Eljay, they're like, listen, we will give you this split if you can reach these milestones because we have trackable proof and we think it's going to be a good thing. I can completely understand that as well. And I think that's good because it has been this folklore thing of like, how do I get a 70-30 split? Is it this amount of subs per month? Is it this amount of bits per month? Is it this amount of viewers per month for however many months consecutively? So yeah, it's very, very interesting.
So again, I feel like I'm losing my mind compared to other people.
Yeah.
Everyone else is like, there are more ads, there are more mid-rolls. Everyone else is being like, they're taking away our money. And then you read the article and it goes, hey, we want to find reasons for you to run more ads, incentives. And hey, there's going to be potentially a criteria and tier system depending on where you rank, you may or may not get different subsplits.
Yeah.
Did anyone read the article?
No, absolutely not. Why would you do that? Why would you read the article? That's just silly, Eljay. Why would
As soon as you see a number
thing?
go from high to low, I think that's immediately a latch on point because it's easy to consume. And again, I know a lot of people do this as well in real life. They just read the headline, but the article, they're like, the headline gives me everything I need to know.
Yeah,
The tweet was, I'm going to throw out, the tweet was fucking inflammatory.
Yeah.
The tweet was designed to do numbers and spread misinformation because, as I've always said, small streamer Twitter is fucked.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like, tier system at a glance, people are thinking, oh, like they're gonna do like a tier 4 or like a tier 2.5 or something. Like that's the initial impression is.
Yeah,
but,
they were like higher, like Patreon, you can make your own tier system.
Yeah.
But can we just touch on the big one? No more exclusivity. You will no longer have to be like, this is a stream only for Twitch. I can no longer go anywhere else or, rebroadcast it. That's huge. I think that's a really positive step in terms of instead of being like this, needy kind of parents, like you stay with me, it's kind of like, no, but we are a funnel here and you can bring them back to Twitch by going on other platforms and maybe seeing why Twitch is the mecca at the moment for live streaming.
Yeah.
I don't have much to say on this one. I think it'd be cool, but also from a little bit of reading and other people, apparently the no exclusivity is a different, it's different to what everyone reads it as.
Okay.
So I did a little bit of reading and someone essentially, I'm not going to go into it, but someone said, this isn't actually what it is. They were like, you guys are all thinking it's exclusivity, but there's no way they're releasing their Twitch partners from this.
Yeah.
This exclusivity is something completely else they're discussing. And I was like, oh, okay, well,
Yeah, well, that's a good point then, because as we said, this article is complete hearsay in terms of, as you said, it was a tweet put out there and people latched onto it because it was just like, here's some random things that I heard through a guy, and it's a Bloomberg article, and Bloomberg, they're known as a good journalism site for whatever it is. But again, it's all hearsay. Nothing has been validated. The only thing that we have to this coming to fruition is the last bit where it goes, changes could be implemented this summer. That's all we've got. So all of these random things
also,
we put there could be going through.
It also says updates to the particular partnership program aren't finalized and could be abandoned, people have said. So, okay, what the fuck? Why are we freaking out? Why are people complaining and saying this is fucked? Just leave.
Yeah.
If honestly, seriously, this has bothered me so much last week, which is why I kind of was like saying to you guys, I'm not going to really get involved. I'm just going to be like,
And here we go. The fire's burning now.
Here we go. This is what you come for.
If you do not like it, go to YouTube. Twitch don't give a shit, right? If Twitch will only care if you move, okay? If you really do not like what they are doing, if you don't like the features, if you don't like the ads, if you don't like any of this, go to YouTube, go to Facebook, go to TikTok. And I'm not saying that because you're not allowed to complain. You're allowed to complain, but it is the only solution.
Yep.
Okay? Stop making user voice polls. Stop fucking going on Twitter and putting in all caps, all streamers deserve 70%. That will not work.
Yeah.
None of that matters, okay? Because even if the Twitch staff, right? Because again, I've said this all the time. The Twitch staff, the social media staff, these people are lovely. They are creator focused. They are audience focused. They are viewer focused. They care about the creators, okay? The problem isn't with them. The problem is it with the upper echelon, okay? Who they aren't using Twitch, they're not involved in Twitch, all that stuff. So when you tweet and abuse, this is another thing I'm frustrated at.
Yep.
If you tweet at and abuse the social media staff for Twitch ANZ or for Twitch and stuff like that, then all you are is an idiot.
Yep.
Okay, that is the reality of it. And the amount of shit I saw on Twitter abusing staff who are creator focused.
Yes.
abusing staff who are completely chained to having to follow through with what they've been told.
Yes.
Over a fucking unconfirmed leak.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same thing. Twitch gets hacked last year, and gigabytes and gigabytes and gigabytes of data get stolen. Who's the bad guy? Not the hacker. Twitch.
Yeah.
How? Like, how do people do this mental gymnastic where someone can have their private information stolen and leaked? Or how someone can release some fucking leak, right? And like this one with bad information in it, with an inflammatory tweet and vague information designed to get people riled up. And the person, the company who they care about and like, who they're using the service of, who are clearly, technically the victim in the situation, even if you don't like it, how are they becoming the bad guy in this situation? It blows my mind.
A lot of people who do these tweets, I guarantee you, have never worked in a workplace. And by that, I don't mean like, retail and things like that. I'm talking about like an office where you were given a job and you've got to do that job and you don't have a say. Like everyone believes that if you work for this company, you're a Twitch employee, you can just walk up to Jeff Bezos, himself and go, I think we should implement this. It doesn't work like that. And even if you did go, yo, I think we should change this, they still have to implement it. It's not just like this problem and solution type scenario where we'll fix it like that. We'll never be hacked again. It's this thing where they just feel the need to kind of spread this negativity and go, you are solely responsible because you've got that wrench next to your name, even though you're in the marketing department and don't understand UI and things like that. How could you let this happen? How could you let us be hacked? It's just, there is no accountability. Like they don't understand the machinations inside an actual organization with thousands of people. Like it boggles my mind to that degree.
It's just basic humanity. Like it's like, this is the name of this is the account for the company that is doing all these issues, so I'm going to abuse it. Like there's literally no thought whatsoever. It's like, no, hang on, these aren't the people responsible. Or they think that by abusing and yelling at the social accounts, that is suddenly going to make its way up to the, to the top. Like the top people are going to hear
send us a tweet. There you go, Eljay. Say that you need to change this, and it really is. We've talked about this many times, but it's an echo chamber. It's an echo chamber, and when you're not feeling that you're being represented enough, or your stream isn't going the way you intended, there's a tendency to lash out at anyone that's not you, because you're not the one that's causing these problems. You're simply a victim of the system. And you just have to take that accountability, because we've all gone through it. We've all gone through the low times and everything like that. But it's how do you change that for your better? If you are unhappy, as Eljay said, on Twitch, then you can just move. They're not keeping you there. You can get out of your contract anytime that you want, unless you signed exclusively for a certain amount of time. I'm sure they'll be like, oh no, affiliate number 1272 has left us for YouTube. How can we change this? They don't understand what's going on. They don't care about these things. And I don't say that in a bad way. It's because they don't know you personally. They don't know a lot of the streamers out there because they have other intentions. They're trying to grow the platform, not grow this single individual person. And that's what you got to understand, that we are kind of not a slave to the system, but we have to be a part of the system to try and work it to our benefit, to our advantage. And people don't get that. They just want to lash out.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, right? You everything you've said spot on. And I want to consolidate 3 points that I think to make sure, or else someone is going to write in the comments. Someone's going to be like, well, maybe I will go to YouTube. And if I grow there, I'll be back to call you out. It's like, no, we want you to grow.
Yes.
All right. We want every single person who listens to this, every single person who is a kind person, to see success. Okay. So let me just consolidate 3 points. 1, this is a leak. If it comes out that this is all true, if Twitch announces it, then a lot of this sucks ass, obviously. But that depends on how it gets released, depends on the final version. But otherwise, until that day comes, remember that I could get a fake email address, email someone at Bloomberg, and pretend I heard something. And who knows, right? Like, there could be all sorts of other things, okay? You know what? At Stream Scheme, we had a meeting once to ask if we'd bring another host on, okay? Could you imagine if that got leaked and everyone was like, no.
Yeah.
What if someone leaked? Ooh, there are rumors that Reapz is being kicked off the stream room and he's going to be replaced by Eljay's butthole.
Wait,
Like, obviously,
when did this happen? You got to speak to my lawyers.
Sorry to break this to you, buddy.
I was going to say, can I buy you back for 45 billion or something?
Yeah.
No, you're out.
Oh, God.
But like, okay, so look, until something gets confirmed,
Yeah.
okay, shut up. Okay, that legitimately, like, until something gets confirmed. And here's the other thing, okay. When I say to go to YouTube, and we all say to go to YouTube, we're not attacking you for being upset about the platform because we know you care about the platform. We care about the platform too, okay? I'm going to bet that I probably care more about this platform than 99% of the people who are actually on this platform, okay? Legitimately, I fucking love the Twitch community, okay? And you know why I can promise you that? It's because I have 155,000 fucking subscribers and I'm not streaming to them, okay? Instead, I'm streaming to 100 viewers still because I like the community and the feel of Twitch. If I wanted big numbers, I would cancel my partner contract and I would go do Q&As, the laziest form of content, to a couple hundred viewers instantly and make bank because people drop $5 on YouTube to ask a single question. Okay? If I really cared about all that stuff, I would be over there doing that because that is so much easier for me, but I don't. I care about Twitch. However, if Twitch came out and made a bunch of awful changes and stuff like that, then I would move too, okay? And I wouldn't just sit there complaining about it. I would move. So if you are really upset, then the only real way to make your voice heard is to just start moving.
I think, the big point is you need to take accountability. You can't just put it on somebody else and go, because of these changes, I'm not going to grow. Well, if that is truth, definitely, then what are the other avenues you have? Otherwise, you can stay at this place that you hate because you're like, well, they're holding me down. Or you can be proactive and go, okay, Twitch isn't the best for me right now. I'm going to go over to Facebook Gaming. I'm going to go over to YouTube. I'm going to, I don't know, go a completely different course and just make TikToks. It really is about what's best for you. So when we do hear these complaints and things like that, we do it too. You heard me before, but it is, I know that I'm not going to change anything. I can only be in charge of what I do. And what I do next is really pivotal to my growth as a content creator and obviously my monetary income, because that's what I'm doing it for. If I don't get a monetary income, you better believe, as much as I love Twitch, I'm not going to be on here as much, if at all, because I have to fund myself. So I sorry. And you had a third point, Eljay. I cut you off, man.
No, that was pretty much my third point. My third point was going to be small streamers will literally do anything else other than watch their own content back and do it. And obviously, not everyone. I'm not saying everyone before you comment. Okay, you know who I'm talking about. I'm talking about the people who send slurs at a Twitch staff member who's on social media. I'm talking about the people who try and dox staff members and send hate emails and death threats to people. I'm talking about the people who will sit there and stream for 8 hours a day, 7 days a week, and then post on our Twitch. Wow, streaming is the worst thing you can do for growth, isn't it? It's like at the end of the day, we're all responsible, okay? We are all responsible for our own growth. And that is the same if you're on YouTube, if you're on Twitch, if you're on Twitter, or any social media platform, okay? Just by making YouTube videos, you don't grow. Just by going live, you don't grow. You are responsible for it, okay? What I mean, okay? Like if you go on YouTube and you use a bunch of copyrighted music, you are responsible and you get banned, okay? If you're on Twitch and you do it, you get that as well. All right. If you're on YouTube and you upload a bunch of 8-hour-long VODs without any editing where you sit there and drool on your controller in between Warzone games, you won't grow. Like you just won't grow. Right. So, but people don't sit there going, oh, that's YouTube's fault. YouTube discovery shit. Because that's, it's obviously it's not that case.
I uploaded a video. Twitch, it should be YouTube should be serving it with the algorithm. Come on now.
I know. It
Come
should.
on.
But like on Twitch, right? Every platform has, as Reapz said, its own way to grow. All right? If you want to know what Twitch is, it's called having a few friends in your chat, going to a category that is beloved and active, and doing something unique, all right? And then rating another streamer around your size. That's it. And then becoming friends with that streamer and networking with them and collabing with them. And then keep doing that. And then if you want,
good
you'll
intentions.
get a bunch of clips out of it.
Good intentions, not purely.
No, obviously,
Just want to make it clear to anyone watching. It's like do it for the right reasons. If someone doesn't vibe with you, then don't try and.
Yeah, obviously. Well, I feel like we've said it a lot, but that's a good point. But like, and that's Twitches, right? Twitches is networking. It is choosing good categories, making unique approaches to content that is interactive and appealing.
Yes.
Right. if you sit there and do nothing interactive, then what's the point of watching your live stream? Right? Like it's same thing as we said last week. If you have no chatters, that's not an excuse not to talk.
Yep.
If you have no chatters, that means you're probably not making any content or appealable or discoverable in any way. And don't take this the wrong way and say, oh, Eljay thinks Twitch is actually discoverable and everyone's wrong. No, I just know for a fact that you do not need any external funnels to get to 50 average viewers.
Yeah.
Okay? Let alone 5 average viewers. Right? Like I got there in a couple months. Okay? I know streamers like Shalaluya who have been streaming now for 16 months who get like 250 average and they've never uploaded a fucking YouTube video. They've barely got any views on TikTok. How'd they do it? Literally what I said.
Yep.
They went and played Subnautica with 3 people in chat, appeared at the top of that category. And then anyone who was like, oh, I really liked watching Sips play Subnautica today. I wonder if there's anyone else playing Subnautica.
Yep.
Oh, I'll click on this guy who's at the top of the category and has high production value and is constantly talking. Like, there are ways to be discovered.
Yes.
And at a certain point, if you aren't growing whatsoever on Twitch, you need to think about the fact that you're probably not making yourself appealing or discoverable whatsoever. Is that Twitch's problem? Well, yeah, at a certain point, it is Twitch's problem that they need small streamers to be able to feel like they can grow on their platform. But is it right now their fault? No. Because there are other people who have proven to be able to do it.
Yeah. And that's the thing. It's a very hostile place as well. And I don't mean hostile in terms of like people attacking you or anything like that. But I mean in terms of
too.
Yeah, that's true. To be fair, there's hate rates and things like that. But I mean in terms of I don't want to use it, but competition. Other people out there who are doing the exact same thing as you and giving a person an excuse. So I've seen a lot of streamers who use a lot of effects. And that fills a certain niche. Like you look at Sushi Dragon, uses a lot of effects. That appeals to a niche. You've got people like Hasanabi, who are basically just big political views, and they watch CNN and they say their take. That is a niche. It really does come down to, as we've said, niche to what you think is best, and how can you make that unique to such a degree? Because everybody in here started with 0 viewers. You don't just click live and then somebody's like, oh, a new stream has started. Let me go into this 0 viewer stream. How many times can you say you yourself have done that? I know I don't. I don't go to a 0 viewer stream because when I have done it in the past, they're usually 0 viewers for a reason. It's like a really bad camera. It sounds like they're talking like this. It's just set like 480p type thing. It's just, they don't care. They're doing it as it could be a hobby, or they just think this is all I need to do. This is the bare minimum and I'm going to get views from it. How do you make that unique? And the easiest way to get people to watch you is to just talk. And if you cannot talk, like we said many times, Nick, we've got to ask you about that. If you can't talk for 10 minutes to yourself, describing what the game did, everything like that, what are you doing? Because that's the only thing you have to do when it comes to streaming. You don't even need a webcam to start off with, just a microphone, I would say.
My success for the past couple weeks or past week of Minecraft, 99% of that success has come down to the fact that I actually am back enjoying content streaming again.
Yes.
Right. In my head, I'm like, I'm not doing this for a YouTube video. I'm just doing this for myself.
I'm the exact same.
And I'm loving it again. Right. And I'm loving it. That said, I also just hired an editor last night who's going to be making me some content. Because he reached, dude, okay, I'm so excited. Just off topic really quickly, just 2 seconds. I hired an editor last night because he reached out to me. He has such a clean, amazing style.
Yeah.
He's also, for starters, doesn't really want his handheld, which I'm so, oh my God.
Yes.
I'm so tired of having to manage people.
Yeah.
I can't do it anymore. So I'm like, fuck yeah, let's go.
Yeah.
And also, he's actually watched my stream a bunch.
That's good.
Oh my
He knows
God.
the content.
He understands your stream.
Yeah.
So I'm so pumped for that. I'm
awesome.
so keen for that.
Yeah.
And he's also super available, so he wants to do 1 a week. And I'm like, yes.
That is awesome.
I don't think it's going to go amazingly. I said this to him. I said, if you want them to get lots of views, I'm really sorry. We should probably not do this.
Yeah.
And he goes, no, I just want to have fun and make the content that looks good and feels good. And if it gets views, awesome. If it doesn't, I'm just proud that we worked on it together. And I was like,
Yeah. Because he's getting paid for the video regardless, you know? So,
exactly. I said, I'm going to pay. Is it going to be like a revenue split? I'm paying you regardless. We'll release the content. And I said, we're going to do a lot of different types of content. I said, we may do some stuff where it's me and my girlfriend doing search, trying to guess each other's search history. We may do this, we may do that. Or we may do me guessing 151 Pokemon or else I have to get a tattoo. Or it could literally just be me playing an indie game for 2 hours and you need to cut it down to like a watchable video.
Is this like
He was
OC
like,
YouTube
yeah.
content?
What do you mean, sorry?
Is this like, are you talking about like making original content for YouTube?
Oh, no, all of what I just said, I have about 25 videos recorded, ready to go from streams from early January. But because my editor got busy and sick and had to quit, then it's all just sat there.
Right.
And I just said,
It's
look,
like
if
a
you want to do
backlog.
it, I got 25 videos there, my dude. We can just pump it. And he was like, yeah, I'm down with that. And I was like, we're going to throw a bunch of shit at the wall and see what sticks. And he was like, yeah, let's do it. But I will say as well, just quickly, I am still working on my side project that is OC YouTube content on a different channel.
Ooh.
And that one so far is going very, very well in the background. Haven't uploaded yet, but still working.
Very
on it.
nice.
It's good.
yeah.
I'll tell you, it's good.
One thing I wanted to say as well, to touch on some things earlier, like
Yeah.
what we, when we're saying before, it's like, if you aren't happy, move to another platform that you think is going to be better for you. And in saying that, we get it. If you've been streaming on Twitch for a while, you have an established audience, no matter what the size, and you feel anxious, like you don't want to lose what you've gained. And at some point, you really need to look yourself in the mirror and decide, and you need to make that decision on whether you think that's worth it. Are you going to stick on the platform that you keep hating on and that you keep sort of hating like all the things that they're doing and keep blaming them for all these things just because you've been on there for a while and you've got a small established audience? Or are you going to take that leap and actually take a risk and do something for yourself, something that's going to actually help you, and go to a platform that you think suits you best? And and after all that thinking, if you still decide that Twitch is still the place that suits you best, then of course, then stay. Absolutely. But we're asking you guys to keep this in mind. Like if you really don't like it, that's what we're all saying as well. Joe was saying before. Yeah.
I love this, and you've anticipated a need and a comment, and I'm glad you have, because now I can say something that I should have said earlier. You're right. There are going to be people who go, "Oh, I've got 20 average viewers, and I'm not growing anymore. You really want me just to abandon them?" It's called multi-streaming. It's not a leap. You take a step. Start multi-streaming. Cancel the affiliate contract and just literally just multi-stream for a few months.
Yep.
And if you've got 20 average viewers on Twitch, keep saying to them, "Hey guys, I really appreciate you being here. Just remember, I'm also multi-streaming on YouTube. If that one does better, we might be moving over. Like, just a heads up, we may move over there, but I just want to let you all know, make sure you join the Discord and make sure you go check out the YouTube channel as well, because we're multi-streaming right now." And you know what? If we say move and you're like, you know what, maybe I will move. Maybe I will. If you're actually considering moving, cancel the affiliate contract, start multi-streaming, add a PayPal link so you can still make money because you want to make money. And then honestly sit there and go, okay, let me see which one's better. Which one is better, YouTube or Twitch? Which one will grow better for me? And if you grow better on YouTube, fuck yeah, I'm so happy for you. Okay? I want you to see success. Okay? What I don't want is to read you yelling at Twitch staff for a leak. Okay? And then the second thing I wanted to say about all of this, I think I've lost it now. I have lost it. I've lost it. What'd you say, Nick?
Saying,
You said...
oh God, now you're asking me to remember what I just said? No.
I can tell you guys what was being said, but I'll leave it to you because the sheer rage on your face of trying to remember is great.
Once I've said something, I forget about it. I don't need to keep it in my brain anymore.
You were saying that you shouldn't, if you feel like you're going to lose everything, then it's a big leap to take. But we're saying this because it's in your best interest to maybe try new things. Do what's best for you.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. I got it.
Yep.
Okay, so my first point was, if you don't want to lose your established viewers, it's called multi-stream. Okay, you can do it slowly and see which one works better. And the second, I think there are going to be a lot of people who won't want to move across because they've been told so many times that YouTube is the place to stream now. YouTube is the place to create content now. And I think if they move across and they don't grow, that's a harsh realization for them that it wasn't the platform. It was their content. Because I personally believe that if right now you're streaming on Twitch and, you're actually putting in hard work and you're actually doing all the stuff that we tell you to do and stuff like that, you should be growing. And if you're not growing and you can't grow, changing platforms will do very little for you.
Yeah.
Because the only difference between Twitch and YouTube right now is that people go to Twitch to look for live streams and people don't go to YouTube to look for live streams.
Yes.
Yep. And it's really hard to look for live streams when you're on YouTube as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's really tough.
Which I said in my fucking video about Twitch versus YouTube, and people started ripping into me in the comments saying, no, it's not, no, it's not, no, it's not.
It is.
And then Ludwig comes out and goes, here's the difference between Twitch and YouTube, and just straight up says, like, YouTube, no one goes here to watch live streams, and it's fucking hard to find them. Why is this random thing here doing this? Points it all out. And I'm like,
Yeah. Yeah. Yep.
The same comment, but by a bigger creator. And of course, they're going to take it to heart because it's a hive men mentality.
And everyone's in the comments of his video being like, oh, I hadn't thought about it like that, Ludwig. You're right. The YouTube is very hard for discoverability. Twitch is actually better for discoverability if you're just a streamer.
Yeah.
That's a really good point, Ludwig. I'm like, fucker, 3 months ago.
I know.
Now-
It's just like, oh, yeah, he's the big guy, so I'm going to agree with him.
Of
That's
course.
it.
It's just an echo chamber. But what
listen,
I was going to
for-
say is the reason why we should talk about like people moving across is because today it was announced that Sykkuno has moved from Twitch to YouTube. Now, we also had another leak from our one and only Disguised Toast saying that there are at least 5 more big streamers on Twitch moving over to YouTube. A lot of people are speculating it's just going to be the OTV crew, the offline TV crew, which is, Pokemon and things like that. People who are already in 100 Thieves. And I wouldn't be surprised if Disguised Toast himself wouldn't move over. But again, this is something down the line. But
Hold on.
Yeah.
We got a breaking news.
Yeah.
Breaking news coming in.
Wow, 1950s breaking
Oh, wow.
news.
Here are the Zeppelin races. Dateline Mount Fuji. Breaking news. Dr. Disrespect unhappy on YouTube. Dr. Disrespect. I had to unfollow YouTube Gaming. They don't support us one bit. Full stop. Why would I want to support them? Ha ha. Such a phony industry that I'm in.
Is this a Twitter? A tweet?
Is this the
Sorry.
Twitter post while recording, while live?
Wow.
Ooh, we're all going on over here now. Yeah.
The same day as
I'm reading this right now. Yeah,
as
yeah,
everything. Oh, as Sykkuno coming across. Interesting. Dr. Disrespect. Ooh, what do you have to say for yourself? I cheated on my wife.
Oh God. I had to unfollow. Now here's the thing. You're exactly right here. When people move over to YouTube, I think it's a lot easier to do so when you're guaranteed money. Especially if you're Sykkuno, right? You've streamed. But I also want to go back very quickly now. Did you see the last few moments of Sykkuno's stream on Twitch? Because if you watch it, I honestly thought a family member of his died or something, because people were on comms with him. I think they were I forget what they were playing, but it was like they had just received the worst news. They were crying in the chat. It was like, oh God, what's happening with Sykkuno? Is he leaving streaming altogether? They're gifting hundreds of subs to him. They're saying people should sub to him right now and stuff. And people were speculating over like, oh, I hope he's okay. I hope everything's fine. And then it was just because it was his last stream on Twitch. We found out today, obviously.
Yeah.
Now,
Can I quickly watch this? I've got it's here in the
feel
linked
free.
it, right?
Feel
The Reddit
free.
post?
Feel free. Listen to his voice.
Okay, I'm gonna listen to it right now. Live commentary, live play-by-play.
I'll see if I can put this in the.
Eljay, do you want to press play at the same time? Because I haven't watched it either.
Okay. Ready?
Yep.
3, 2, 1.
Anyway, thanks a bunch to my friends, guys. It's been a super long like thing. I don't even know what to say, but yep. Thanks a bunch to my friends, guys. Make my stream great, and make me want to stream even more, actually. So.
Huh?
That almost sounded like he was like just quitting, like
Yeah.
retiring.
It was the most dramatic thing I think I've ever heard. And that's only the end bit. You should have heard before in the actual stream itself when they're talking in comms. They were all crying. It was, and I who am I to say how you react to some news and everything like that?
I get it,
Yeah.
right? I get it. You're leaving where you grew, right? You're leaving where you existed, where you found your audience, where you found your community. There's a high chance that you leaving that platform also means that a lot of your regulars, people who watch your content, the names you see in chat that you love to see in chat, then are probably not going to be there anymore, right? And I understand all of that. But also, you took about a big bag of money.
Yeah.
Go over, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. It was
Like
very odd.
Ludwig left and was like, one day I'm going to end stream, everybody, and I won't hit stream again. And it won't be today, but it feels pretty good. And then it all fades to black.
Yeah.
And I think that's fine.
Lovely.
That's a little cheeky hint.
Lovely.
Then he walks away and with his bag of money.
I was gonna say, pretend these Pokemon stickers are money.
It was.
I don't want to belittle him for
No.
No.
for it, because at the end of the day, he has, it's probably sad to leave his channel, right? But it does feel like a big reaction.
It was very big. It was an extreme. To me, it was. Now, I'll probably put this in the podcast. I don't think we should get a copyright. We'll talk about it later. But I'll put it in there, and hopefully you can see. If not, I'll put a link. We'll put a link in the description for you to see it. But it is that kind of thing of
if I remember, we say that a lot, and I never do.
Do we?
Yeah.
Just Google Saikuno last Twitch clip. It is a big thing to act a certain way when that news is literally, I'm just moving platforms. Now, if obviously it's a big deal to him because you wouldn't react that way if it wasn't. I don't think there was a crocodile tears or anything like that. Do you think that we've come to a point where we're making such a big deal over such a little thing as moving platforms? I understand the urgency and I understand the gravity of moving platforms with an established community that you have. But do you think it warrants a reaction or even the big blinking breaking news banner that we give it?
No, I don't think so. I think all this does is perpetuate the platform wars and make it worse.
Good point.
Make it worse for creators. Because, I think, so going back to the Doc disrespect thing, I think the reason why Doc probably feels the way he does is because he's banned from Twitch for whatever the fuck he did, right? He also got all posturing and being like, I'm going to sue them. And then ended up being like, we settled out of court because I didn't want to reveal anything. But so we got that, right? And so Doc he's not going to go to Facebook. Who the fuck's going to watch him on Facebook, right? So he really is stuck on YouTube. So of course YouTube's not going to fight for him. YouTube's not going to be like, hey, here's a big bag of money. No, they're going to go, hey, Ludwig, hey, Saikuno, hey, Offline TV, Mizkiv, NMP, LOL, all of you guys, come over here. Come on, Timmy the Tat Boy, come on. Because they need to pay them money.
Yes.
But Doc doesn't need money. Doc, they don't need to pay him. He's not got anywhere else to go. He's a fucking refugee. So it's like, it's a Twitch refugee. So it's like, but here's the thing. I know that streaming is a dream job. How do I know that? It's my dream job. And it's when I started seeing dips, I've panicked because I realized that my dream job could go away.
Yes.
But if I was this large and I was moving platforms, got offered millions of dollars and stuff like that, all that stress would be gone.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be in tears about changing platforms personally. I'm not belittling Sag Saikuno. I'm just saying that there are a lot of content creators out there who would love to be fought for by a platform.
Yeah.
Like really love to be fought for by a platform. And it's like millions of dollars sets you for life.
Yeah.
$1 million will set you for life. People are like, no, it won't. Well, it's like, yeah, no, you legitimately, think about it. You get given $1 million, you buy a house, even if it's an $800,000 house, then you no longer have to pay rent every week, right? That relieves 90% of my stress.
You will
personally.
always have a roof over your head. You always have a place to go.
So I just I don't know. I look at this and I look at some of this intensity and I know these guys, streaming is their entire life. And you know what? Streaming has been my entire life, right? Over the last 2 years. But I think Pokimane is probably the creator I respect most on Twitch alongside Ludwig these days, because I think both of them treat streaming as, we're doing this for the content, but also I got a fucking life outside of this. Peace. You know what I mean? And I took a leaf out of Pokey's book the other day. I was live for about an hour on Friday night.
Okay.
And I was having a great stream. I had gone bowling that day. I was telling stories about how going bowling during the day is wild because there are women drinking vodka cruisers and double black Smirnoffs and running down the... It was so weird, dude. Going bowling in a bowling alley during the... during the day.
All right, let's go.
Going ham. And it was wild, right? And I was telling all these great stories. It was hilarious, really fun night. But I kind of had this realization. I'm like an hour in. I'm sitting there with 90 average viewers, which is about right. My chat was popping the fuck off. I'd already made a bunch of money, and I knew if I stayed live, I'd probably make a triple the money, and I'd probably get a bunch more follows, and it'd be it was set to be a really big night. And I just kind of sat there and I leaned back for a second. And I said, guys, I'm gonna do something weird. I'm gonna end stream. And I'll tell you what, it's got nothing to do with you. It's got nothing to do with the stream. I loved being here. This has been incredibly fun. There is absolutely nothing wrong. But you know what? I want to go spend time with my wife. I haven't been able to see her because she's been working so hard. I've been working so hard. And I want to spend more time with her this weekend. And while I appreciate you guys being here, we're going to raid Nico. And yeah, I'll catch you later.
Nice.
And I just wrapped up stream.
Nice, man.
Because in that moment, I realized that despite the fact that I was having so much fun, streaming isn't my entire life.
No.
In fact, I want streaming to be a very small part of my entire life. My family is what's important to me. My life balance is what's important to me. I want to be able to make YouTube videos and stream because I don't want to end up as someone whose entire fucking life is streaming. And I think that might be the mindset that sets me back and means I will never fully actually grow. And that's fine. If I can live comfortably, put a roof over my family's head, and wake up at 10 a.m. each day, relax, not have to have a boss who yells at me about some bullshit, then that's fine for me, right? And I think that this dream job is great, but it isn't the be-all and end-all. And I've said it many times. If you really want to grow, get life experiences, touch grass.
Yes.
But then even while you're streaming, just go outside.
Yeah.
Spend time with your friends and family. The pandemic is dying off now. Like it's calming down. You can go to bowling. And that's what I realized. I was like, I went to bowling today rather than work.
Yeah.
I can do that. Why aren't I doing that?
Yes. I really want to touch on this for a moment because I had a very similar experience where about 3 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, I don't know. I was not in a good space. Mentally, physically, I was just not in a good space. And it did boil down to the fact that streaming is my life at the moment. It is everything to me. It is what, brings in the money. It's what I do throughout the day. It's what I think about at night. It's just everything. And I came to the realization that streaming is going to not be my everything forever. You know what I mean? I may have 2 months in me. I may have 2 years in me still, but it will come to an end. And the thought that when I went out, and I talked about this with the boys beforehand, I just went on a 20,000 step walk. I put in the podcast, just walked. And I went through the suburb that I live in, and it was popping. There were people just lining the restaurants. There were people inside the bars, in the clubs, and they were laughing and smiling. And there was this kind of the realization you had before the pandemic hit of this is just normal life. And people are having a good time out. And I miss that. And I've come to the realization now that I will always continue streaming until it doesn't become viable to me. And if it doesn't become viable, I think I will be sad. Maybe you'll see me do a sad Saikuno. But knowing that I funded...
Hey guys, I'm really sorry, but
really sorry.
I'm gonna...
I gotta go, guys.
I really appreciate everything.
I've loved everything.
Exactly. But knowing that I did this for 2 years full time and funded myself, I can say that I had that dream of being a content creator / streamer, and I achieved it. It's not like I didn't achieve my goal. I did. I got partnership. I got to get an income that would fund me to do this goal of being an entertainer, some would say. And now it's time for me to move on to something different. I was always so worried about what is the end. Like the end to you is like, oh my God, life is over, everything. I'm a retired person, looking back in like those glory days. But I just come to the realization that there's so much more ahead of me. And this sounds really hokey and stuff, but as we talked about in the comments section, people realize that they're streaming for the sake that they thought this is what they wanted to do, right? But they came to the realization, actually, I just want to do content creation in a different aspect or whatever it is. And I know that after streaming, there's a lot of content creation that I want to do that doesn't have to be streaming. And I will be fully, just happy with what I'm doing as long as I'm in a creative environment, like with you boys on this podcast, just talking, breaking down things, spitting ideas, things like that. And the sooner that you can realize that streaming isn't the be all end all, the more that you have longevity within content creation and not be beholden to, I have to do this, I have to do that, you'll feel so much better and your content will be better. Because as you said, Eljay, I'm no longer streaming for YouTube content, although there will be YouTube content coming from it, but inadvertently. I've just been playing games that I've wanted to play and just riffing. And I feel better, my view account's better, everything like that.
Your view account is fucking popping off.
I had some amazing
Your account
rates.
is popping
I
off.
had some amazing rates, to be fair. And it's just been really nice. Like I'm playing the Stanley Parable. This is a game that has no ending. You know, it's just random shit that happens. And I'm loving it because I can riff off of it instead of doing something that I don't want to do. So sorry about that tangent, but yeah.
No. That's exactly. It's not a tangent. It's on topic. That's the point of a podcast at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And I guess it's like, it kind of really does play into the whole concept of today's episode, where we're discussing the idea of discovery on Twitch and what is important and moving platforms and what you should do and what features you do and these leaks and everything like that. Because if you are a small streamer, right? Why does any of this Bloomberg leak or anything like that actually matter to you?
Mm-hmm.
Is your entire life on the edge of this hobby? If so, that's not the Bloomberg article shouldn't be panicking you. You should be panicking because this is incredibly volatile in general.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I understand someone like myself or who's involved in this in like an education sense. I understand someone like Reapz whose entire income comes from it. But I really don't, other than just being like, I care about the platform, I really don't understand why people are so angry and upset.
Yeah.
Because, guys, if you really want to be successful as a streamer, there needs to be a decent part of you that realizes that it's not your entire life, right? Streaming is like 7 jobs in a trench coat. That's walking in like, hello, I'm going to do 1 job today. It's like, no, you're not. You're a fucking social media manager and a community manager.
Get 'em,
you post
fellas.
on Twitter and you got to do the YouTube and stuff like that.
Yeah.
We've been sprung, boys. And like,
That's a lot of hats.
Yeah.
and it's just like, if the only part of this that you're involved in is streaming, then I think a hobby is really what this is going to be. And none of the changes or the leaks or any of this stuff really affect hobbyists. And none of those changes that were on YouTube just then affect anyone between 0 and 50 or 0 and 75 or any of that stuff really. You could argue that the ads maybe, but it says ads incentives. We don't know enough about it yet. So I guess, I don't know.
Yeah, like look, a lot of the things that they talked about in the Bloomberg article, for all we know, they're probably just looking for they could have just made some shit up and just looking for some extra points just to get some extra like attention. Like the whole like exclusivity thing could have just been something pulled out of thin air. Like because it was like it's like one line.
Meetings.
It's like one line, one sentence that they talk about this exclusivity.
Yeah.
It's like they probably just pulled out of thin air just because they wanted something else to like, help the article gain some traction.
For it a bit. Yeah.
For all we know, could be
anyone who's anyone who's worked in a day job or in a corporate environment or in a team environment, you know that you're all sat in a room around a fucking table, and then John in the corner, who everyone hates, is like, I got an idea. What if we just run more ads? Right? Like,
God damn it, John.
And everyone's like, oh, well, we've got a rule that we have to write everything down, even if that's fucking stupid. And they write down more ad incentives, John. He goes, no, more ads. He goes, no, incentives, John. Incentives.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, we've put all of John's idea on this one piece of paper. Okay. Thank you, John. I appreciate it. And then someone takes it and goes, this piece of paper is all of their big plan, and leaks that, right? Like, I'm not saying that's exactly what happened, but like, I'm just saying,
close.
like, we've all been in environments where there's someone giving bad ideas. Like in the creative space, when you work in a team, that is like 90% of it is listening to bad ideas from other people.
Yeah.
I get the amount of comments I get from people being like, Eljay, you should make a video about X. And it's like, no one's going to click that. No one's going to watch that.
Yeah.
Like, no,
Or people being like, you should play this game. It's just like, it doesn't work for me.
Mate, the amount of times I've been told, as we talked about, you should play this game, even though you know that's going to get no views and stuff. But they're like, no, I would watch it. That's okay. And I'm glad
you know they
would.
won't either.
They won't.
Yeah, they won't either.
Dude, Northern Lion said in a video recently, someone said, oh, you played 2 hours of Backpack Hero, can't make a video of Binding of Isaac. And he just kind of lost it. He goes, Binding of Isaac? You want to make Binding of Isaac? Do you not see my cat came in here and vomited? I've got a toddler coming in every 15 minutes. Yeah, I can't make another episode of Binding of Isaac. We should rechange the Northern Lion tagline for my subreddit from Northern Lion to 25,000 people complaining about there not being Binding of Isaac, despite Binding of Isaac only getting 9,000 views a video. It's like, and I was just like laughing because I've never felt something so like, ingrained.
There are those days.
Like,
There are those days. Yeah.
Eljay, do this really niche segment that only got you like 50 average viewers 2 years ago. Do it. You do it. You get like 60 viewers.
Yeah.
oh, LJ, you got to do it again. I love it.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
you weren't even there. But you didn't even rock up.
Yeah.
God, that is so true. But
Yeah.
one thing I wanted to say, like, Reapz, what you were talking about was sort of like, you know, the life thing. It's just that also really hit home for me as well, because a couple of weeks ago when my partner got to visit, and you know, everything took a backseat for that week because I wanted to maximize my time with her. So I only did 2 streams that week, and you know, throughout the days and everything, was just you know, spending time with her. And what made, like, I know what you're taught. Like, I really do understand when you say you realize, like, this is what living is and this is what life is, right? It's like you realize, like, all the stuff that, you know, you're kind of missing out on. Like, we did a lot. Like, we did more than what the average person would do in socializing the average week. You know, seeing all different friends and going out constantly. But you kind of you get to have that, and almost, you know, it made me feel refreshed. Because by the time, like, I did 2 streams that week, but by the time that Monday came along and you know, Tuesday came along basically, and she had flown back, and I was ready to, I was so, like, I was sad that she had to go, but I was excited that I can get back into making content again.
Yes.
Like, I was really excited, and I started working on a bunch of stuff, and you know, I finished something really cool. You know, that I made into a really cool raid alert, which I'm really proud of, which is really cool, really exciting. Like, I got really, you know, really passionate again. I was like, yeah, I'm ready to go. And I just started working really consistently for those first few days. So it's important, because if all you're doing is putting your entire focus, and look, we're not saying that, you know, it's an easy balance. Like, content creation requires a lot of attention, a lot of time. That's just the nature of it. But it's important to set aside those days or those times where you go and experience, just go out, just do something, organize with a friend, just do something, go out and
Put it on the back
refresh.
burner. Yes. Just, it really is, because as you said, when you spend time with people that you love and love being around, and now that the world's opened back up, it gives you that refresher. Because as you know, if you do content creation, most of your time is in a room or an office, whatever it is, with monitors around you, and that's it for the entire day. And it becomes very isolating. And you forget exactly what you're doing it for. The reason why you're doing it is so that you get money, so that you can spend more time not doing work in the future. Like, that's what we're all going for, right? We all want a lot of money so you don't have to rely on working.
Is that, hold on, question.
Shoot.
Is that freedom your goal, Reapz?
Freedom in terms of...
You want to be able to have your life balance and all that stuff, and be able to kind of just do...
Like
do
you
whatever.
said, I would like to know in the future, when I retire, whenever that is, that I have enough of a nest egg that I don't have to rely in terms of, you know, the government handouts or things like that, that I will be comfortable. I'm not saying wealthy, but comfortable.
Nick, is that your goal as well? That life balance mixed with, like, being comfy and having all those options and everything like that?
Yeah, I want to be able to support myself, and you know, in conjunction with, you know, my partner, both of us, you know, being able to support ourselves together, and just to be able to, really to have that comfortable life where we.
I've got an Eljay's hot take for you.
Okay.
And I'm gonna get real. All right.
Shoot.
Get real.
As I like to say, let me shove this up the hopper and see how it comes out.
Okay.
All right. Boys, if that's your goal, right, which is my goal as well. I've been very open about that. I want to do content creation because I want to have a work-life balance. Surely you don't want to be streamers as a job. Because as a job, as a streamer, you got to go live X number of hours a week. You got to consistently do it. If you miss a week, you lose money. It doesn't make much money. You burn out after a few years, usually. Your views drop down. It's very hard to grow. And if you do grow and you want to take time off, you can't take time off. Surely, in this grand scheme of things, and maybe it's a hot take, maybe it's a prediction, I don't know. Does that not mean that all 3 of us eventually are going to prefer to be a YouTuber? Because I'll tell you what, guys, when I couldn't stream because of my internet issues, I could still upload videos.
Yep.
And I had a lot less work to do. I was outside more. I was going for walks more. I didn't miss a single upload, because at the end of the day, making 1 video a week is very easy with your time. And
if that's all that you're doing, yeah.
It's passive, right? And like, I could have uploaded 2 videos a week while my internet was down, right? Like, this isn't like me saying you shouldn't be streamers. You can stream and have fun with it. But surely if your goals in the future are that security and that safety. And anyone listening to this as well, take this to heart. If you want to be a content creator, you want to be a creative, then streaming is, and you want to be safe, streaming is sadly one of the worst ways to do it. And this is from someone who loves streaming and teaches people how to stream, because to me, the moment you stop streaming, everything stops.
Yep.
Streaming is the most locked in form of content creation. Instagram influencers can post once a day with an ad. TikTok stars can post 3 times a day with an ad. YouTubers can post once a week, once a day, once a month. As long as it's good quality, it keeps going, right? Literally every other form of online digital content creation is a better way to have a work-life balance that allows you to do whatever you want while building a nest egg from really high value. This isn't Twitch's fault. This is all live streaming.
Yep.
Okay. So I guess to the people listening to this right now, if you want to make this your career, why are you streaming?
Yeah.
And you know what? We all started it and we all continue it because we really enjoy it. But I think it comes down to a sort of like, I guess, phrase. For a long time, I referred to myself as a streamer. And then I realized like I wanted to put the work in and I wanted to really grow and I wanted to become sustainable. And I referred to myself as a content creator.
Yeah.
Like truly. I don't refer to myself as just a streamer anymore. Yes, like I haven't, I'm still working on getting the YouTube content, out on a regular basis. But I'm no longer referring to myself as a streamer. Like I look at myself and like I am a content creator. Not like there's exceptions, right? There's exceptions to the rule. There are someone who is like, I am a streamer, and then they stream, and then they've grown, without any external funnels or any diversification or anything like that. But from the realist perspective, I am a content creator, and I know that to achieve my end goals, I need to do more. Which is why I am, which is why there's been a lot of things in place. I've essentially have been putting a lot of work into from the live streaming point of view to really fine tune that, get my stream to a point where I'm really happy with it, right? From like, assets and things and like that, and my sort of the content I'm making on stream. Because once I've got like, and you always have to do tweaks and stuff like that, but once I've gotten to the point I'm really happy with, then I can really focus all my attention to, diversification and YouTube. And throughout the week, the only thing I'm truly, worrying about is like, hey, what games am I playing? How's this going to go? Kind of doing your general planning for your streams that week, and thinking of big events to do, once a month, or doing collabs. Like all of that is very small in comparison to the rest of what I want to spend more of my time on. And so it's like it's a time investment. I'm investing my time in the stream now, getting it to where I want it to be before I where I can wake up throughout the week and I was like, yep. So all these days during the week, I'm spending on thinking of a video idea, scripting it, recording it, starting to edit it and put it all together. That's what I want to do. That's what I think a lot of people need to do. You need to look at yourself and you need to go, I am a content creator, and that is a broad title that you create content not just on one place. Because if you aren't creating content anywhere else, then you aren't a content creator. You're just a streamer.
Yep.
And you're not going to get as far as you want to go as a streamer.
You've hit the nail on the head there. And Eljay, you raised a very good point in one.
It wasn't a call out, by the way.
No, I didn't see this call out.
In terms I just want to make sure.
This is exactly what I want to do, Eljay. As you said, I would love to make videos, because if I were to map out where I'd like to see myself go in the next year, 2 years, whatever, it's stream less and less and less, but release more and more different content in terms of videos, TikToks, things like that. Because I know that I am not the type of streamer that can do 10 hours in a row and just, be comfortable doing that. Around the 4-hour mark for me is where I start to feel hungry, get a little bit irritable, get a little bit uncomfortable, bore myself, to a certain degree. My energy is drained. I'm not that type of streamer who can just go 12 hours, like XQC, Moon, things like that, and just, get the raids, get everything, and just, up and up and up. I'm not that type of streamer. But what I do know that I can do best is create content in terms of skits, in terms of commentary pieces, and I really enjoy doing it as well. There's a passion there. So you're very correct in saying that if I was to look at myself in the future, streaming would be tertiary in terms of everything. It would be something that I'd do to, touch in with the amazing community that I've established that supports me and everything like that. But in terms of not having the camera on me 4 days a week for 6 hours a day, whatever it is, that is such a relief to me, because there are those days where you don't want to show yourself. And it's not because you're upset or anything. It's just that you're drained. You're like, you have to put on a certain personality. You've got to get up a certain amount of energy to do it. And the fact that, I've been doing it for 5 years now, Nick, you've been doing it for 6. It's not that I'm saying that I hate it in any stretch of the imagination or I dislike it. It's just, it takes a lot of effort, and I know it's not sustainable. That's the thing. It's a reality check. This is not sustainable as a career, because you do burn out. Other people burn out watching you. Other people move on with their lives, and you don't get those viewers who did support the stream monetarily like you did in the past. Like, it's such a weird, you're on like a plank of wood in the water. And sometimes it goes crazy out there, and sometimes it's smooth sailing. But it really relies on those around you rather than yourself. Well, if you can put out a video and rely on ads incentives and Google AdSense and things like that, that's more sustainable. I'm not saying fully sustainable, more sustainable than going live and hoping people give you bits, subs, whatever it is, especially with the decline in viewership. So you're dead on the money, and I do need to do more things that will sustain my future in terms of videos.
Yeah.
I apologize if it came across as blunt.
No.
Either. It wasn't really my intent. It was more just, I guess in my head, I've talked about this a lot with people, and I've talked about why I stream, right? I've talked about the fact that I stream because I enjoy the process of it. And if I don't enjoy the process of it, why am I doing it, right? And I ask myself, I make sure I check in on that all the time, right? But I don't stream for money because I don't have to stream for money.
Yes.
Because Stream Scheme exists. And I guess in my brain, I look at all of this and I just go, you know what? Why is everyone else doing this? And a lot of the time people say that their goal is, as you guys just said, that's their goal. And I'm like, that seems counterproductive. When I got into this, one of my mates said to me, he goes, just a heads up, dude, like I've done a lot of research into all of this. And at the end of the day, you need a secondary funnel that actually is your primary focus.
Yep.
Because Twitch should always be a engagement tool for your audience, right? And he gave me an example. I won't say who it is, but there's a very large Australian creator back in the day. And she was huge. She had like 700, 800 viewers. Like, this is a while ago, so that's a decent amount. And she did this full time. She had no other funnels, and she went away for 2 weeks on her honeymoon, which should have been fine, but she broke her leg or something like that.
Right.
And she couldn't stream for 2 weeks or whatever when she was coming back, or there was something similar that stopped her. She came back. She was down to like a couple hundred, like 100, 200 viewers. She'd lost all her subs, and she never recovered ever. And she quit and went back to doing a day job.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's like, we just don't control that. But here's the thing, right? You break your leg, you can probably still sit there and make a YouTube video. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Or your YouTube videos are still live, bringing people in.
Yep.
Streaming, yeah, you probably could sit there, but also, how are you supposed to be super energetic while also on painkillers and everything like that for 5-6 hours? You got to be there 5 times a week rather than 1 2-hour recording session. Like, I guess in my head, it's like, you got to ask yourselves, not you guys, but anyone who wants to do this, why are you streaming? Because if it's truly for long-term strength and stability and all that stuff.
Discoverability.
Oh, yeah,
and all that stuff.
Yeah. Then you're probably in the wrong side of it. And it sounds weird because last week we told you all, maybe you don't want to be doing your videos on stream. But like, I'm going to make a bit of a prediction for us, all right?
Okay.
I think the vast majority of people, when they get to our point, would rather be a YouTuber than a streamer.
Yeah.
Because I think that in order to really be a big streamer, you kind of need to be in a certain lifestyle, right? You need to be able to go live, and you need to be able to stay live, and you need to be able to keep those average viewers up, keep pumping them, keep doing them, collaborate, network, always be ready, always be on. But then you look at someone like, Call Me Kevin or Ambiguous Amphibian, they upload videos. And they do whatever the fuck they want with the rest of the day. Maybe they call sponsors, maybe they do work, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Or, like what I did on Friday, I'm not going to do work today. I'm going to go bowling.
Hells yeah, man. By the way, what was
I'm
your
very
score?
happy.
Did you have a good score at the end of it? Did you bumper bowling?
Sorry, what was my what?
What was your score like just for bowling?
Sorry, what was
that triple digits or did you go
Like
on
the numbers on the
like
frame?
it usually goes like 200 something like that average.
Like how many pins fell over?
Yeah, like if you were to say there's a ball and it's going towards 10 pins.
Yeah.
And we're not talking
Pins fell
switch
over.
sports. We're talking real life.
Yeah, pins.
Yeah.
Pins
Yeah,
fell
pins.
over.
Yeah, pins fell over.
How many fell over in 10 frames?
Yeah, they fell over.
Oh, yeah, but how many specifically?
I didn't.
No. You're a
they did.
statistics man. You've got your graphs and everything. I'm sure you did a graph of the.
I mean, they fell. I just they fell over.
It was a strike
Definitely
every time.
one pin fell over.
It was a strike every time.
Were you versing Claire at the time, or was this your friends?
No, I was versing my best mate, who I've known since I was like 2 years old.
Okay.
And then our other mate, more of an acquaintance, if you ever hears this. And we were just hanging out. Honestly, the real reason I went is because my best mate's had a baby the last like 7 months ago.
Nice.
6 months ago.
Yeah.
And he's the most adorable little bastard ever.
Oh, did you use him as the ball?
Yeah. It was like it was like the Wii Sports meme. But I said to my best mate, I said to him when I first met his baby, I said, just a heads up, I'll no longer take a bullet for you. I will physically use you as a meat shield to protect this child for the rest of my life. He's so cute. And he was like, yeah, that's fine.
That was it. God damn.
But yeah.
Did you do the thing in Wii Sports bowling where you throw the bowling ball behind you and the whole crowd jumps up?
Oh, yeah. Classic.
No, I didn't do that, but it's fine. Yeah. But no, essentially, I guess, I don't know. My question is like, I hope a lot of people think heavily, not just about the fact they want to be a streamer, and instead think more about why they're doing what they do and what they're hoping to achieve long-term from this. Because I guess, just imagine the day, as Ludwig said, one day you're going to hit end stream and you're not going to go live again, whether it's by choice or not. And I really hope you have something else to keep you happy, steady, and sustainable, and you haven't wasted your early 20s streaming 8 hours a day. Right? Like, I say this to teenagers all the time. I get a lot of 16-year-olds and young people being like, hey, I'm trying to stream, what do I do? And I always go, yeah, I wouldn't. Man, go spend time with your friends, learn new things. If you really want to be creative, get a camera, go take photos, film stupid videos with your friends. You don't have to even upload it. Just spend time out in the world doing things. And learn about lighting and all that stuff. And if you enjoy it, then maybe you later come back and stream. But if you don't enjoy any of that stuff, you don't enjoy creating and having fun with all that stuff, then you've learned, right? You may find a different passion. Don't put your eggs in this basket right now when you're young, because even in your 20s, right? Like, I'm so glad that I traveled in my early 20s.
Yes. Yeah.
You know what I mean? I couldn't grow. I can't go traveling right now if I didn't have Stream Scheme. I wouldn't even be able to go on my honeymoon in June if I didn't have Stream Scheme.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, if I wasn't able to consistently be releasing videos while I'm overseas, like, I'm going to take my laptop with me and all I have to do is press one button and a video goes out and call it a day, go back to having cocktails, you know? Like,
on the beach.
Yeah. But if I only had streaming, do you imagine that? Like,
Yeah, no, that's it. Like, planning a trip, like I in July, like I'm planning to go to Melbourne for a few days, and like having to try and figure out what time of and what time of day that I can go, so I can minimize my offline time while still being able to go and visit when I need to visit. It's really, really tough. But Eljay, I just want to say I appreciate your bluntness, and I think that just in general in the community overall, there's not enough of it. There's not enough bluntness. There's not enough the real things that are being talked about. And I think for me, it's something that I want to be more blunt just in general with myself and just with my thoughts as well. That, you
I'm
know,
excited for the Nicktacular tech channel to kick into
I know,
gear.
I know.
I'm keen. I want to know about in-ear earbuds, please.
We need some. We've been talking about earbuds the whole time. We're like,
you know
we
what?
need earbuds.
No one makes content on them. And then Linus releases a video on Short Circuit, and they're like $1,600 USD earbuds. Linus, I'm not buying 1,600 earbuds. I want earbuds that are budget, on a cheap, make my head look nice, and also are really, really cheap.
Yes.
You were talking about like in-ear monitors and stuff like that, and I was actually doing a little bit of research into it. So I was like, I started to look into it. I haven't got any full results yet, but
Very nice.
Can I issue you boys a challenge?
Sure.
I don't know what the rest of your day looks like, but after this stream, can we all make a promise after this podcast? Can we all make a promise that we're going to take a step towards a long-term sustainable piece of content?
Yes.
Whether you write a script, whether you do something, I don't know. Just I hope you boys can, because after this podcast is done, I'm going to hit end podcast and I'm going to go write a script about this. I'm gonna write about your long-term goals, about why you're a streamer, what you do, and how you set yourself up, and be really blunt with my audience. And I'm sure it's going to go down swell. And I hope that you guys can take a little bit of time today to maybe just put the dot points in, put something in, and prep yourself. Because
I can promise you this, Eljay, that I will definitely be doing that, because I do have this new motivation that streaming isn't everything to me anymore. And I'm not saying that I'm now throwing it to the side or anything. I'm just saying that my focus is going to be more. Breaking news. Oh, Jesus, it's 1950s. What's going on? I do want to say that a lot of people think that if they don't become successful on Twitch through whatever means, discoverability, whatever it is, that means that they're bad at it. This is not the case, because I know that I am a success of circumstance. I'm a success of circumstance in terms of I got big during COVID when people were at home. If COVID didn't happen, the pandemic didn't happen, chances are I would probably still be sitting at my 20, 30 average followers, if that, and maybe a completely different career path. But I was fortunate enough where I could become a full-time streamer. Now, as we said, this is not forever, but I can promise you, Eljay, that nothing makes me happier than actually putting the time and work into making OC videos. Now, whether they'll become successful, I'm never going to promise or guarantee anything like that. But I promise you that I definitely will be releasing OC stuff. And I'm so excited for it. I've already got so many like silly ideas that I want to do. So yeah, I can definitely promise you, and hopefully the people listening, watching, wherever you are, can do the same themselves. And it doesn't have to be a video. It could be music. It could be, I don't know, writing a play, things like that, a novel, who knows? Whatever it is that makes you creative, do something. Because again, the worst thing that you can do as a streamer is make that 100% of your life, because you burn out very quickly. And in terms of all other content creation out there, it is near the very, very bottom in terms of sustainability.
It's just a great podcast. First, we told them all just to fucking move platforms if they don't have game issues. And then we told them we're talking about moving platforms in terms of the content we create. And I think the best part about Stream Room for me is that I never feel like I need to clarify, right? Like on Stream Scheme, I have to be so careful about clarifying every little thing so people don't think I'm like contradicting myself. On Stream Room, the audience is like, oh yeah, we understand Eljay's talking about a completely different thing now, right? Like with this one thing he's talking about this, and then now we're talking about this, and it's not the same, and I'm not going to call him out. Like last week we had people commenting about the fact we said, you know, maybe recording your YouTube videos offline is better, right? Like, and we had one person be like, I really appreciate that you're willing to talk about the fact there are a lot of different processes to go through with this. I, for one, tried doing offline. It worked better for me. Thank you so much. Another person being like, as a VTuber, yeah, you can upload all these clips and stuff like that, but I prefer to record offline as well. And then we had another person being like, oh, I don't fully agree with you. I actually really like to record mine online. But then what I do is I watch the whole thing back and I write a script and I just show parts of it. And I'm like, okay, well, that's kind of what we said is offline too. It's just throwing it out there. But like I like the last week we were able to say like there are so many different pathways. And whatever works for you is great. But don't be fooled into feeling like you constantly have to follow the pathway that is taught by, you know, all the big guys who say, stream this and then convert it down. No, there are lots of different ways to do it. And do what works best for you that allows you to create the best content, that allows the best return as well, and makes you feel good. Because, yeah, I guess it's just, I'm glad. The Stream Room is good because a lot of the audience and listeners and stuff like that they understand context.
Yes.
And if they comment on this and they've taken me out of context, I'll ban you.
You'll get them.
We're very reasonable here at Stream Room.
Eljay's loading his shotgun. Get off my lawn.
You hear that in the background. But it is very
They won't even
nice.
know. They won't know that they've banned them either. I'll just hide them from the channel.
Oh,
Just so
okay.
myself, and no one else can ever see their comments, and they can just keep commenting.
But I must say, though, when you talk about the people who listen to Stream Room, I think it is very much a niche. It is people who do really want to kind of succeed and get better, because when you read the comments, it's not just like good vid, you know what I mean, and smiley emoji, whatever it is. There's like paragraphs sometimes of people going, this is the process. This is what I think I could do. It's really, I love seeing that, because you would only do that if there was real thought into what you just watched or whatever informative thing you
Almost
got.
every complaint we have isn't even about our audience.
Yeah.
All the small streamers we referenced earlier, I don't think a single one of them is watching this podcast.
Yeah.
Like when I talk about like the ones who are like drooling on their stuff like that, like none of them are even watching this podcast. You know what I mean? Like legitimately, the people watching this are like actively, they care about this and they really want to do the best they can. And I think that's
nice.
why I try to be a bit more real about like this here, because I don't know. I also know the Twitch staff are listening.
Here's the thing. There's a lot of channels or content out there that they're making content and telling people what they want to hear. But there's not enough. And I think, you know, like the Stream Room, like us, like Eljay with Stream Scheme, there is not enough people actually telling it how it is, telling the real deal, the real information, and going against a lot of what a lot of bigger creators have said. And that's because, you know, they, at some point they've gone through the trenches to work up to where they are. Yeah. But we're constantly in the trenches, and but we're actually spending more time thinking about these types of things. We're always thinking about what is the best path for us to take. Yeah. So that's why we're able to be so real, is because we get it and we understand. Not saying that the others don't. I'm not saying that at all. But there's just not enough people actually telling it how it is and just being real and asking the hard questions, telling the hard truths. There's just so many other people that they're just telling people what they want to hear, because they know that if I tell them, like, you know, if I make this video telling them what they want to hear, people will watch it, and then, you know, like it'll get shared around and things like that. And they're making it for, I guess, less morale purpose. Oh God, what's the word?
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of things that you see, the videos where it's black and white. This is success, this is failure, right? The thing that I like about the Stream Room is that it's very much gray. We can say one thing, but it may not be right. You know, we may say another thing and it could be completely right, but doesn't actually work at this time or in the past or whatever it was. The fact that we can debate this and go, there's so many different avenues to reach these goals because of, you know, the situation that you're in or what you're, you know, the technology that you have, variables that you don't have. There is never a definitive way, a straight line to get to your goal. What we do like to do here is obviously debate it, put it out there and go, well, this could work, this could work, this could work. And only you can tell us, oh, actually that idea did work. Or actually, guys, you suck. That was a terrible idea. Didn't work for me at all, because everyone's path is different. And that's what I really, really enjoy, especially the fact that we get them Q&As. Should we move on to the Q&As?
Oh, shit. Yeah. I forgot about the Q&A despite we're an hour and 50 in.
Yeah.
And also, we haven't even talked about what we streamed the past week. I talked about one analytics thing that I did, and then we went on our whole fucking thing. Honest question, guys. If you're listening at this point, can you please comment? Do you care if we go through the games we've streamed and stuff like that? Or would you rather we just have our topic, we start talking about it, and we go where it leads us? And if we have personal experiences that fit to it, bring it up, or interesting things you want to talk about. Let us know in the comments what you like. Because with the retention rate on the last episode was way better when we didn't do our whole week by week by week and instead just had our theme and we instigated it with a personal experience and then went from there.
I like that. Personally, I like that
I like
more.
the format.
We can
as well.
weave it in,
Okay.
like if we do want to talk about our weeks, but I do like just going straight into it.
The retention rate on every other video, we talk about our weeks first. It does this. It starts the video, 100% people click it.
Yeah.
We do our intro. And then the moment we're like, well, first, let's talk about our weeks. Thanks, down. And then it goes all the way across. Yeah. And then literally at the time code where we stop talking about our weeks, it goes,
but that just
goes back up.
It shows how volatile it is. And that's content creation. It's your own journey.
Yeah. if you're listening to this, clearly you don't actually give a fuck about us. How dare you?
Mum.
They don't care. They just want to hear us.
Let's do this. So Kratos commented and asked us a question, and one of their question, I'm going to summarize it a bit, but they actually mentioned that they realized they were making content they weren't passionate about. So last week's episode really helped them out. So they mentioned they have a brand new YouTube channel. It's all going to be about a specific hockey team. I've already replied back saying maybe do it like overall hockey is the niche, not a specific one. And they said after listening to last week's episode, they feel like they shouldn't promote the channel to their current Twitch viewers and current Twitch and YouTube subscribers because they're worried people will click to like and comment and then they'll leave, instantly hurting their retention rate. Okay. I feel like this is a pretty straightforward one. All three of us kind of agree. Yeah, if it doesn't fit the niche, don't share it, right?
I've got nothing else for that's exactly.
There's nothing really else to it.
Yeah.
But I feel like it's important at least to bring it up and go, Kratos, like this is the same reason why I'm not going to tell anyone about my secondary channel is because it's not going to fit my current audience's niche, which means I'll probably grow slower. But once people do understand it, once YouTube does understand it, I'll probably be better off rather than having to create 40 videos where YouTube thinks the retention rate is trash and everything is trash. So hopefully that helps Kratos. Next up, Big Boss Raz would like to ask you guys, what do you feel about the abuse of tags in the past few weeks, such as the VTuber tag being used by large streamers and other streamers so they can appear at the top of the list? And they asked a little bit about discovery on Twitch and stuff like that. But what are your personal thoughts about mistagging to break a system in order to improve discoverability? Because they're like, essentially like, if there's no discoverability, but there's this one thing that might boost you, should you break it and kind of use it to your advantage just so you can really get up there and do everything you can because there's no other way to be discovered?
Listen, this is I saw a clip. It was just hilarious. I forget the name of the streamer. I apologize for this, but basically he went to the VTuber tag and clicked them all open. And it was literally just people doing ASMR with those weird ear mics and just licking it. And he just had like 7-8 tabs open. It was the grossest sound you've ever heard in your life. But they weren't VTubers at all, is the point they were making, but they had lots of views. Now, obviously, I think this comes down to one, your moral compass. Where does it lead you? If you're misidentifying what your stream is just to get clicks, do you want that as part of your community where people are coming in thinking they're getting one thing and then either A, get angry at you for mislabeling yourself, or B, they stick around, but are they the type of community that you want in the first place? For me, obviously, I think it's silly. If you really want to grow really fast and it's working for you to mislabel it, sure. But think of the long term. Will it last a long time with this label? And two, the people coming in that are following, are they going to stick around when you do not do that stuff that they originally got there for, which is apparently licking ear mics and things like that? Obviously, I think it's wrong in terms of you don't want to be like, let's just say audio if you put ASMR and you don't do ASMR on your stream, it's just like, I think I've got a nice voice. I think that's a bit silly, but for me, I don't do that. I don't want to abuse the tags for the simple reason that there are amazing people out there who actually identify and want to be spokespeople or ambassadors for whatever that tag is. So yeah, I guess it really comes down to yourself, but my moral compass says I don't want to do that. I don't want to bend the system just so I get a few more clicks. That's just me.
Even like, you know, yes, like it's definitely like, it's like a moral thing. Like you shouldn't do it, right? But at the same time, even if you tried to, I don't think it would actually benefit you in any way. And it goes on to what you're saying, what you're just saying, Reapz. Like what, you know, the kinds of people that are going to click on your stream because you've got that tag, but at the end of the day, they're probably not going to stick around because you're just not what they're looking for. You're putting yourself in a category of people where the person that's clicking is looking for the other people. They're not looking for you. Even if you get put in front of them, they're not looking for you. So I think it's just kind of pointless. Like, yeah, sure, it might seem like, oh yeah, but they're adding the VTuber tag and they're getting so high up on like the directory and stuff like that, or people are actively seeing them. It's like, yeah, but they're actively seeing them. Sure, they might have an established viewer base, which is making them seem like they're higher, but realistically, they're not. Like it is literally, there's no point for you unless like if you're an actual VTuber and you're using it, that's great. But if you're not a VTuber, there is literally zero, like apart from it being a bad thing to do that you shouldn't do it. There's no benefit at all. Yeah. I don't understand why people are thinking that it's this, like, oh yeah, like oh my gosh, this is the latest, this is the thing, this is the secret to grow. It's like, no, just shut up.
Yep.
Cool. Small tip with tags though, on the positive note, if you go to a category before you put yourself in it and go to the top, it'll tell you the most used tags in that category. Just apply any that fit for you.
That's awesome.
So for example, in the just chatting category, I think chatty is a new one that people love. Yeah. Which I didn't use until recently. Another one is like Minecraft. If you're in Minecraft and you really want to grow in Minecraft, what you do is you go to Minecraft and you turn on playing with viewers, and then you turn on, or you can also turn on multiplayer, or you can also turn on permadeath or hardcore. All those tags are heavily used in Minecraft because obviously you need to be doing those things, but because people are more interested in permadeath and hardcore Minecraft than they are in normal. And they're also more interested in playing with viewers and playing with like the streamer and playing multiplayer than they are with individual Minecraft. So I don't know. Go to your categories. Look to the top.
Yeah. So you're talking about like going to the actual search directory, not when you set your game in the dashboard and it automatically.
Yeah. So you click on Minecraft and at the top it has the tags.
Yeah.
The most
used tags. So you go to the category.
Yeah. Just wanted to.
So I can go to Twitch right now and I can type in. I guess I can't type in /C Minecraft. This isn't YouTube. And I go browser and I can go just chatting. And at the top of the just chatting category, it says English is turned on. And then it says chatty, AMA, and VTuber. Okay. So those 3 tags are the most used filtered tags, which means that if someone were to use a tag to like search for something, those are the 3 that they are most likely to be using. So I'd turn on chatty and AMA and I'd have and they're going to pull up everyone who's doing those things, which means it's easier for me to find those people. And when I do that, when I turn on AMA, for example, suddenly the top person on just chatting right now has 1,000 viewers, then 400, then 300, which means much easier for me to appear at the top. Yeah. Right? If I turn on chatty, I'm like in the top 3 rows instantly. Yeah. So those are really good ways of doing that. If you do want to try and use tags and boost your system, then, Minecraft is LGBTQIA+, VTuber, and multiplayer right now. Although I do know playing with viewers pumps in MC. Yeah. Anytime you're doing a multiplayer server, if you turn on playing with viewers, you get it's the amount of 12-year-olds. Holy shit.
It's a Zerg
They come in. They all flood in.
Oh my God, yeah.
They want to play.
You get a lot of tags because like because when you set your category, there's default tags that get added to your stream, which is good. That was a positive change that, it's only like kind of recentish, like last like 6 months stuff last like they did that. But yeah, so then it's about identifying apart from that, the rest of the tags that can really help. I find when I looked at my channel statistics, Australian and ADHD are 2 of the biggest tags that people click and find me with. And
okay, but hold on. You got to ask yourself a question for that though. For your stream, do you use many tags other than those? Because your own analytics, my own analytics, all they say are the tags that I currently use. They don't say the tags that I could be using.
No. Those are what I currently use.
Yeah. So again, those are just like, that's kind of like your analytic ones. This is something I had to teach to another person recently. It kind of ends with confirmation bias because the people who are going to find you from those tags will find you, and so your analytics will say, hey, these are bringing people in, but you could be bringing in like triple that if you shifted it up to use higher trending tags or different tags.
Right, I see what you're saying now. Yeah.
Whereas the analytics don't show you what you could be doing, they just show you what you are currently doing.
What it was currently doing. I think my other 2 tags I mainly use is like first playthrough, because a lot of the time I'm doing like a first playthrough. I try to find like another tag that's super relevant to the stream.
I use closed captions on everything.
And also, yes, that's what I use as well. Yep.
That always does very well because there are a lot of hard of hearing people on Twitch, and they still deserve content, even if it's just because of subtitles.
Yep.
And they use the tags. And I will say, it's funny, if my closed captions ever break and the tag is still on there, you realize how many hard of hearing people there are on Twitch, because every single one of them is in chat going, hey,
yeah.
You said that'd be subtitles.
Come on. I've had people come in and be like, thank you so much for having closed captions. Like there's a decent amount of people that really appreciate it. And prefer
can you give me a good extension for that? Because I've had problems finding a good one because it comes out as garble.
Yeah,
there's one for OBS, but I prefer not to bake them in and not to have all that shit. I actually really like this one, and I'll call it out for the viewers as well. Pull it up. It's called stream-cc.gooseman.
Okay.
It's just called Stream. What you do is you install it as an overlay or a panel.
Okay.
I prefer as an overlay. And then people can turn it on or off if they want on their stream, and they can move it around the front of the window.
that's
They
sick.
can move it everywhere. They can change it all, edit it all. And all you have to do, Reapz, is install the extension. Then you go to the website that they'll link you. You log in with your Twitch account, and you just click start. And it'll
Every
take
time
your
that I
microphone.
stream?
Yeah,
Yep.
you got to click start every time.
Okay,
So I do that. I do it.
Yeah.
And you just click start, and it takes your microphone and auto captions it. So sometimes it's a little bit broken if you're really quick, like
That's me.
You know what I mean? It's going to be broken.
Yeah.
But when I'm just talking to people normally, it's wildly good. As long as you set your dialect.
Yeah.
If you don't set it to be Australian, you're fucked. I set it to American once, and people were like, "This is jargon. This is literally. This has no idea what you're saying."
There's the one that I use is I think it's just called the captions plugin, and it uses like the Google text to speech API, and it's also it's not as customizable as the one Eljay mentioned, but it is something that the viewer can turn off. So basically, it's like down where the buttons are, where there's like clip button and the share and like full screen, a little CC button appears on your screen.
Nice.
And then you can just
yeah.
click that and it removes it. And it's
My one does that as well.
yes, it does as well. But this one you can't move
Word
around. It does it in a very
extensions.
intrusive way as well, though. It's like a 50% opacity background with the
Oh, okay,
captions,
nice.
and they take up like a small part of the kind of the bottom center screen. So they're not really covering too much. But yeah,
Nice.
So,
I got to check them both out.
Raz, I hope that helped. And I hope that goes a long way. Our final question for today is from Jess, who is a commenter every week or every second week.
Thank you, Jess.
And
You're the best.
thank you, Jess.
They are one of the people who inspired an entire episode.
Yes.
And they're a legend. They've asked us to hire them as an ideas person. Jess,
We'll give you a budget of lint and maybe a coupon if we got one.
You get a crisp high five at PAX.
Jess, I'm going to give you a marketing tip for you. All right?
All right.
If you're giving it to us for free, why the fuck are we going to hire you? All right?
Hey, got him.
So why am I gonna hire
Take
you?
that,
when you're
Jess,
writing
you loyal
questions, all
listener.
right, Jess?
Next on this video, she's going to comment, "Hey guys, I have a question, but I'm only going to post it if you pay me."
Behind a paywall
Touche.
question.
Yeah, touche.
Okay, so no, Jess's question is I'm gonna summarize it a little bit. It's about predatory third-party MCMs and networks,
Okay.
which is really, really funny. And they're asking essentially, what do you guys think about them? Are they a thing on Twitch? Are they a thing on YouTube? Do they still exist? Do they have benefits? Are they still common? And I think this is really funny because we actually had someone, I won't say who, we actually had someone who commented on one of our channels or one of our videos or episodes being like, "Hey, thanks for answering my question 2 weeks ago and for this week. Yeah, I'm seeing way more success now. I've learned more from this podcast than being in an MCN with these people for X number of years." And they were like, "Should I leave this MCN, this team? Like, they're not doing anything for me." And I was like, and I wrote back being like, "Those still exist?"
Yeah. I think we both
What?
we both commented on that one. Yeah.
Because we were just shocked. Like, we were just shocked at the idea of like I understand stream teams exist and like little collab teams exist, but you're not like a fucking network. You're just a bunch of mates doing something,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But like the idea of being locked into like a contracted like MCN, unless you're a big creator and you're part of like 100 Thieves, in
Yeah.
that case, your contracts are really, really,
It's good.
like it's good. But like anyone small, here's my thing I always say, right? If you're a small creator, this may be a hot take, but you don't have a huge amount of value to a lot of people. Usually value comes from how big your audience is and how much they trust your word.
Yeah.
So when companies lock you in for weird contracts early on, like Raid Shadow Legends and stuff like that, usually they undervalue, underpay you, and kind of overly use you. And so I guess to me, I would never consider joining an MCM. I would never consider joining a network. I don't need it. Back in the day, you needed it to get monetized on YouTube. These days, You don't need to get monetized on YouTube.
Machinima. What was Machinima? That's right, Machinima.
I was about to
was
say
one
the
of them.
Machinima incident. The Machinima incident. And a quick TLDR for those that do not know. This is going back quite a few years.
Yeah.
But the TLDR is essentially a lot of people signed up with Machinima because Machinima was the big hit thing. And essentially the contract was all of the monetization from their content would go to Machinima first, and then Machinima would take a cut and then pay you. And a lot of people were actually getting screwed out of a lot of money. And there was also another severe problem, which was apparent when Machinima went away, which was all of their content did as well. They lost access to their content. It was just gone. And it had a lot of people, like they had to essentially, like they had to go to their backups and re-upload it on their own channels just because Machinima was gone, all their content was gone, Machinima's backups gone.
Yeah.
So it's just not good. There's just not really any benefit to it at all.
Yeah.
Obviously, that's not every network, but like at the end of the day, you don't need a network. You can kind of do everything by yourself. Should you? You don't have to. You can make friends and do it, but you don't have to be in a network for that.
Facts.
I guess the big thing to me, I always say, is if you're going to join anything, just make sure and sign anything, just make sure you read it.
Yep.
Because they don't hide it. They just dwell on the fact that hopefully people don't read the contracts. That's it. Like no one hides scumbag behavior. They just hope people don't notice it.
And word it very specifically.
Never ever join a agency or MCN where you have to pay to be part of it. That's the biggest red flag you can ever receive, because obviously that is literally a pyramid scheme where they're just like, sign up with us and we can give you, brand sponsorships and you'll get paid X amount and we'll take X cut. Doesn't work like that. You should be signing up to an agent or an MCN where they're like, we will get you those brand sponsorships and then we will take a cut out of the things that you agree to, not the other way around. But saying that, we do have some news this week for the viewers. We have started up the Digital Buskers Scholarship Program, where if you give us $50, we will give you the finest in questions, answers, hot sites, hot tips,
That's it.
TikTok access, behind the scenes exclusives. We're starting our own food network. You know how Mr. Beast Burgers, you got the Sidemen Plus called The Sides. We're calling this just the Busks. And it's just eating the bus, and you get it through Uber
room.
Eats. So
The eat room.
all profits, the eating room. It's all profits go to us. So sign up now. Thank you.
Yeah, there you go. Not to mention, of course, the one-on-one stream reviews. We will record our reactions and review your streams one-on-one.
Follow all the people in the Busks, and we'll be great. Thank you so much.
Eljay's just dying.
Eljay was the mastermind behind this, and we're so excited that he has come up with everything. So thank you, Eljay.
Thank you, Eljay. Thank you, Eljay. He's going to do so much. He's really helping.
Thank you.
He really loves Twitch. He really loves Twitch so much, so he's doing all of this to help
out of his
everyone.
own pocket and everything. So $50 to join, and we can get you some brand sponsorships. Have you ever heard of Raid Shadow Legends? They're a new up and coming thing, and we'll give you a cut if you do Raid Shadow Legends.
Yeah.
I'll tell you one thing about all this. I got an email the other day. Hey, Eljay, love your content. You've never watched it. Shut the fuck up. We want you to work with us in this brand new premium energy drink. Here's how it's going to work. We'll give you 10% off on all purchases, 60% off on all purchases. We'll give your audience 15% off on all purchases. All you got to do, show it on stream once, make a post on social media once a week, and then keep pushing it. And everyone who buys, you'll get a cut of it. Just make sure any products you want to show off, you got to make sure you use this code, or else you have to buy full price rather than spend 60% off. I was so close to replying back saying, if you ask an influencer to buy your products, it isn't a fucking partnership.
Yeah.
It is a scam. Like I forwarded it on to a mate of mine who is in an agency and said, have you seen this shit? And he goes, you're the fourth person to fucking forward this to me. I'm so tired of this. And it was the exact same. He showed me. It was the exact same, just email. Like, hey, I've watched your content. No, you haven't.
Yeah.
How have you watched like 30 fucking streamers and loved all their content? And like, oh God.
Yeah, we may have to, I'll message you of who I think, because I may have received the same one.
I mean, at this point, Reapz, I assume any dodgy email I get, you get, because we're fucking so intertwined.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was really, it's interesting you say, because And the thing is, we've spoken about recently as well. The moment that you kind of hold your ground to someone reaching out to work with you is when they just they buckle back, being like, we can't take advantage of this person. So I got reached out to by a company who recently had started selling their custom like mechanical keyboards and switches and that kind of thing on Amazon. And it took me a bit to I hadn't got, it was a couple of days went by because I was busy. This is the week that the Kirsty was visiting. And then I got DM'd on Instagram by the same person being like, kind of giving the whole spiel. And I was like, hey, so-and-so, thank you. I did see your email. I've just been a little bit busy and I will get to it very, very soon. And they were like, no worries. And then another day also went by and I got to reply to it. And I was basically like, okay, cool. Like I'm interested. Let's discuss what kind of, sort of like payment negotiations for what the deliverables that you'd like. Never heard back.
Of course.
Never heard back
Once
at
you
all.
know your worth and you show that you know your worth, that's when they run, because they want to prey on people who are like, yeah, we'll show your product and, do social media posts and give you free advertising for 60% off your product,
Yeah. They were just like, we see, they mentioned my YouTube channel, my socials and the Twitch channel, of course. And they seemed very keen. Like, we want to send you some stuff and promote that it's sellable in Amazon AU. But the moment that I mentioned, to negotiate price for all of this stuff, they were just like, they just never responded.
So
that says everything I need to know.
If anyone's wondering why I burst out laughing so hard a second ago, I should probably clarify. When Reapz said, hold on, I'll message you, I'll see what it is. We should have said, he messaged me the name and it was the exact, we both got the exact same.
That was my,
email.
I figured as much.
Sorry about, yes, I messaged and I was like, is this the brand? Because they also reached out to me probably at the same day, probably at the exact same email time, because it's just, BCC.
Well, if you're curious, right? Yeah. So when we used to work in digital marketing, most of this was done by a robot. So essentially you just feed it a bunch of stuff and it will go through, and what it does is it goes through a bunch of websites in certain niches, finds people's contacts, puts them all in a pool, and then all you have to do is just click run and it'll just everything out, right? And then if the person replies, that's when it pings to a real person. That's when a real person starts getting involved. And there's all sorts of wild stats about it. Like we learned, like for example, when you do this, I wasn't a part of this team that did this. There was another team that did this. And they learned all this crazy stuff. Like, for example, if it was a female name doing the outreach, there was a way higher chance someone would reply, which is wild. Like, just that when you think about it, just wild. And so for me now, anytime I get an email like that and I look at the title and I see that it's a female name, I go, yeah, I know that you're not real. I know you're not real.
That's crazy,
and I can see
man.
it. But the thing is, like, you can see in how the email is written and how it's done, they've made it as like vague as possible to try and make sure it just kind of perfectly gets in there. And it's like, you can just see it and you go, yeah, you're not real. Don't pretend. All right.
Don't you do it.
A robot can't watch my content.
Facts.
And it's very funny. But that was all of the questions today. That was a heated and honest podcast, if I do say so myself.
I really enjoy, I know we say this every week and we say this every week, but I really, really enjoyed that podcast. I just felt it was more free flowing and it really was just lots of areas of gray that people don't understand. I don't understand fully most of it, but it's nice to put out there and see, different takes. So I've really enjoyed this week. And hopefully you have too. And if you have, like, comment, and subscribe.
That's it.
Is that a great call to action?
Why'd you get creepy at the end of it, though?
Yeah.
So you went like Cartman there. You went like Cartman from South Park.
Sorry.
Are you calling me from the bushes outside my house and asking me to like, comment, and subscribe?
Look out your window. Yeah, that type of thing.
Reapz, what are you doing out there?
Guys.
What? Get out of the pool.
Sorry, man. It's hot today. It's not. It's 24 right now.
24 is hot for me. By pool, do you mean the flooded street or like?
No. That's gonna be Thursday when the rain kicks in. That'll be that.
That's it.
But any final words, boys, before we head off, because we are dropping frames very, very soon.
I've got a thing, guys. Is there something that we can ask our audience on Twitter as a poll? Or maybe as a YouTube poll. I don't know if we have that feature yet. But like at least as a Twitter poll that something that maybe relates to today's podcast that I can schedule, I can put a reminder in my phone to make sure I put a poll out next Monday.
Here's my poll.
Yep.
You're going to have to blur it, but I will get it out for you if you want. No, here's what you ask. Ready? You straight up say, what is your goal for streaming? And you write career, hobby, part-time, right? Like those should be like your 3 options.
Yeah.
Or if you want, you can even just select career, hobby / part-time, because 2 answers tends to be better for people's engagement. And then when everyone writes back they wanted as a career, we write back, hey, fuck you. You're not allowed to work in this full time.
Get out. You're wrong. You're absolutely wrong.
On that topic, Eljay, I believe it is your week to do the call and response. So what would you like the call and response to be in the chat?
Okay, so I want to make a quick change to the call and response.
Sure.
I want the call and response not just be chat. I also want it to be the YouTube comments.
Great.
If you listen to this far in and you don't comment a call and response with us, what's wrong with you? So today's comment and also Twitch call and response is going to be, wowza weewa, what a hot one. All right? That's what it is. Wowza weewa, what a hot one.
Brilliant.
Like that, with all the gusto and energy. And what we're going to reply back saying, we're going to reply back and say, don't you dare objectify me, you piece of shit. All right? That's what we're going to say back.
We're going to get Twitch staff saying that to us, and we're like,
Oh
don't
my
you
God.
fucking objectify me, you piece of garbage. Okay.
I mean, look, it's my turn. You can't.
That's true. We have no say. We have
It's
no
true.
say. Now, so that is brilliant. What was last week's? Because I've forgotten again.
Mate, I don't.
I don't.
There's so many in my head.
I forget. I need. You know what? We need to write these down every week. We need to write down.
No, that's cheating.
No, just.
All right. Don't you cheat. All right.
You do it, Nick.
It's been a while.
Don't you do it. You know what? If you don't know last week's one, if you don't know last week's one, you need to go back and watch the entire episode. Don't just skip to the end. The entire.
Oh wait, no, I remember.
5 minutes left.
Wait, I remember.
I got 5 minutes left on it. Don't tell me. I'll figure it out. I'll know before tonight. I have one final thing, but I want to say.
Sure.
Okay. If you've listened to this podcast, you should know it. All right. But I'm putting this here so that if someone comments it, I can at least time code to this segment. Everything we say in these episodes is an honest conversation and a discussion. As Reapz said, as I've said, as Nick has said, this is not us saying this is 100% the way to go about things.
Yes.
This is us having personal opinions from being in the industry, from knowing people in the industry, and from dealing with it. We are a few steps ahead of where most creators who listen to this are right now. That doesn't mean that we're always going to be right. It just means we can provide a perspective. If you disagree with it, that's okay. Okay? We're allowed to disagree on things. We're allowed to have different approaches to things. If you're seeing a lot of success by doing the opposite of what we say, that's brilliant. Okay? We never are sitting here saying all this stuff and hoping you guys don't grow. Everything we do as creators and on this podcast, we say and do it because we ourselves want to grow and we want you guys to take something away from it. Even if your takeaway is, these guys are fucking idiots, right? That's fine. So if you listen to this, understand that this is an honest conversation. And if you really disagree with us, that's totally cool. If you really agree with us, that's totally cool. If you don't care what we're saying and you're just listening to this like you doobies, I know you're listening, you don't even make content, why are you here? Then I just hope you have fun.
Yeah.
All right? And I just hope you laugh every now and then or exhale lightly through your nose.
Exactly. And I hope that you realize that we're all humans. And if you do want to give us feedback,
apart from those Twitch staff on the Twitter,
bloody butts over there.
Let's go at them.
If you do want to say that you disagree, feel free. Realize that you can be constructive with it. You can go, this hasn't worked for me. Don't be those people that just yells and just expletives with no real kind of meaning, because we won't treat you like that ever. So hopefully you can repay us in the same way. But in saying that,
I did call some people droolers.
And lots of droolers. So if you do drool, I got no.
Maybe I was a bit rude. But I'm passionate.
You do this. Not little old me.
Oh, I'm going to take that.
Eljay's at it again.
All right.
I'm going to put slapping that on Twitter.
Yeah, exactly that. We are dropping frames. It is the end of the podcast. Thank you again for listening. Thank you again for commenting, liking, all that good stuff. all the call to actions that we need to do to make this grow and grow and grow. We've hit 500 subs on YouTube. That is a big milestone for us. 2 to 3 months in means a great, great deal. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Tell friends, tell whoever is in the content creation industry, maybe give us a listen or give us a watch over at YouTube.
Specifically tell your grandma.
Specifically her. Nobody else, and then you can move on. It's got to be grandma
Tell her
first.
I said hi.
This has been us from the stream room. We are dropping frames. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye. Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
I've been
so
using
you can't
the
hear me right now. I'm just gonna do it. Ready?
Yeah.
Welcome to the stream room. My name is Reapz. You'll see this in the recording.
Where did that voice come from?
You'll see it in the recording. It's
All right,
fine.
you're laughing about something. I'm going to watch this back, I think.
Yeah. That's exactly what he
It's
said.
still not working. Still not working. Hold on. Oh, man.
I love that he was looking down as well that entire time. So he
He's going again.
And today we're discussing Twitch discoverability and how bad it really is. I'm Reapz.
You can hear us?
Don't
You're all
you,
good?
okay, now I can hear you. So whatever you said, I'm going to find out. And I'm going to put as bloopers at the end. All right? And go,
I was just talking to Nick.
Oh,
Yeah, that
interesting.
was just
Okay.
fine. That
Note
was
this,
just fine.
Reapz, for put it at the end, blooper section.